Hey everyone. Hello, 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 hello. I'm waiting to see if I'm live. Welcome back, everyone. I'm going to make this announcement twice, um, three times. You guys are going to remind me to make the announcement. So let's do it the first time. For the winners of the Thanksgiving game that we played, I would like for you guys to reach out. Let me put the email on the screen. This is the email that we expect the response to. Um, Prior to Thanksgiving, two of the winners already received what they needed to. One person, one family did not. And we've been attempting all week to reach out to you via email. LB was leading on this effort. We've been emailing and calling and trying to figure out how to get in touch before Thanksgiving. You have until Sunday at 6 p.m. when I meet with the moderators um, to respond to the email below, themisthoth.events@gmail.com. Please, 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 if you were one of the families who won, this hopefully now becomes reimbursement. That was not the original plan, and we've been attempting to contact you all week. So please, please, please reach out to LB and the moderators at the email below. All right. So that's kind of where I wanted to start. Before we get into talking about Kelly and Chris Brown and everything that I wanted to talk about today, I actually have to say that in going back and reviewing some of Kelly's work and reviewing some of Kelly's interviews, I believe that Kelly is a good person. As far as we can anticipate how good a person is based on their celebrity and the persona that they present, I believe that Kelly is a great person. And I think she defends people who she interviews with, and I think she defends people generally, but that does not shape in any way what I'm going to talk about today. I think it needs to be talked about, and I'm going to do it. I question whether or not I should make this live stream entirely about this, but it is going to be entirely about their situation. So I'm going to talk about that. Before I do, happy Thanksgiving. um, Yesterday was Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had a great time. For those who don't celebrate, because we know the history of Thanksgiving by now. If you don't celebrate, I hope you had time to relax and be with your family and friends or be with yourself. I hope that you enjoyed your time. I hope that you had time to relax. So, saying that, welcome everyone. Let me call out some names: Faith, Vitamin, Yazzie, Abdi, London Link, Chica. Thank you all for being here. There are too many to name. All right, that out of the way. This live stream was going to be more academic. We were going to be talking about aging and the aging population and hitting the wall and what that means and why people are talking about it. We were going to discuss aging as it relates to men and the male body becoming agendered, right? Gender neutral in its appearance to people outside of the man himself, and how women age and the discrepancy in terms of death, actually, death of despairs by men who are lonely at a certain age and women who are lonely finding different ways to cope through communities with other people and expression of self and the biological realities of aging generally. But I've decided we're not going to do that. We already did a hugely academic stream last. Kelly is operating from condition programmed mind. Yeah, we already did that, so we're not going to do it. I actually wanted us to talk about filial piety, this Chinese idea about respect to the elders, and how with modernization, and it's specifically when it comes to consumption and capitalism, consumption in capitalism, how we have veered very far from the kind of respect we give to people as they age, right? And there is no longer this kind of need for storytelling and wisdom because we believe we have all the information with technology. I think that is an amazing conversation still. I am willing to have it, but we might not be having it right now. But one day, one day, I promise you, I will bring it back up and we will have that conversation. So without further ado, let's get into what this video is about and let's get into the mess because let's be honest, tonight should be messy. Tonight should be a bit messy. Okay. All right. So Kelly Rowland is an amazing artist. And I don't want to take anything from her. I don't think she is as big as she could have been. I don't think colorism is the only thing to be blamed for Kelly not being as big as she ought to be. I think Kelly is in her own way. I think people, let me do a poll. Have you have you liked the stream? Let's do that. Let's do a poll. Did you like the stream? All right. All right. So I don't think Kelly's inability to dominate the music industry is one that is predicated. Boss lady, welcome to the membership. Is one that is predicated solely on ideas around colorism. I think she is inconsistent. I think that she has too many things going on. She is a socialite, she is a judge, she's an author, she is a writer, then she is a producer. And I don't think we fully understood. I don't think we fully understand Kelly's capacity as an artist. And part of that is, I think, her being in Beyonce's shadow. That's a very difficult thing to overcome. But I won't only blame that because Beyonce's sister made a name for herself in music, even with Beyonce being who Beyonce is. So we are not going to excuse Kelly's inability to break through by saying she is in Beyonce's shadow. We can talk about colorism, and I think that's true. But I think Kelly herself is inconsistent. She's inconsistent vocally, she's inconsistent with her performance, but she's one of the most beautiful people in the world. And I respect her. I have tremendous love for her. And she's one of the only people that I, as an artist, that I don't listen to her music generally, but I will buy whatever she's selling musically. I don't know what that means, but I do it. Abdi, welcome to the membership. I appreciate you. Thank you so, so much. All right. So let's get into I love Kelly's face. Yeah, no, Kelly is beautiful. I think Kelly is beautiful. Now, but she does things that I think are problematic, right? And so when we think about why we are mad about what Kelly did, I think we have to accept some very upfront truth, right? So why are we mad? Kelly has privilege in terms of her beauty. She does. It is what it is. I love that for her. However, it is very strange to me that in the climate Kelly grew up in, that she was unaware and has pretended to be unaware of the impact of colorism, right? Of the impact of colorism on young Black girls. Because she was also disregarded in a lot of ways until Michelle came about in Destiny's Child. There were people who would go to finance and only want Beyonce's autograph and not want to have anything to do with anyone else, right? One of those instances, Beyonce had to drag the CD, the album from the gentleman who wanted her to sign only and give it to the other band members, right? And we can see that the collective rejected Kelly when she went solo. Um, and we can blame it on a lot of things, but colorism would be one of them. I know that Kelly understands colorism. I've heard Kelly talk about colorism, and I've seen her impact in terms of people looking up to her as this is a beautiful woman who is dark skinned. So we can all be beautiful in some ways, right? And so to see Kelly extend grace and her image to protect a known colorist is absurd to me. But colorism is the least of our problems when it comes to Chris Brown. And we are going to go into some history on Chris Brown because this idea that we need to get over what Chris Brown did to Rihanna is absolutely ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous because not only did Kelly did Kelly extend grace to someone who very obviously don't want that kind of grace from her, she extended it in a way telling us and lecturing us that we also need to extend that kind of grace to him, right? When I say when I use Chris Brown's lyrics, how you hating from outside of the club when you can't even get in? I'm not only talking about Kelly, right? Because in some ways, Kelly might be able to get into Chris Brown's section because they're quote unquote friends and she has celebrity and he's not going to be idiotic enough to exclude her, right? But he excludes her image, right? If Tokyo Vanity is to be believed. And we'll get into some of that in a moment, right? So when we're talking about Chris Brown's history, I will explain in detail some of the things that I think are important, but we're not just talking about Rihanna. We're not just talking about DV, which we are. We're also talking about his impact and also his colorism. And some people talk about his sexualism. We will also, because we're going to go through all of this and I'm going to explain why it was so upsetting, right? So, Kelly. This is what happened on Sunday. For anyone who do not know, the AMAs took place on Sunday. And they were awarding Chris Brown his award. The R&B Artist Award was given. Favorite R&B Male Artist Award went to Chris Brown. Kelly was on stage and she presented the award. Chris Brown won, and a booing rightfully or wrongfully, depending on if you like him, but for me, rightfully ensued. The audience that was, from my perspective, predominantly white, was booing when they found out Chris Brown had won the favorite male R&B artist award. Right now, Kelly hushed the crowd. Kelly hushes the crowd and says, "That's what we're not going to do." And then she goes on to accept the award on Chris Brown's behalf and said she was going to take it to him. I did not really care. I didn't think much of this until later. So let's do something. Let's hear what Kelly said at the award show. Wait, Nadim is flexing his 4-point presentations. Look, y'all gonna get a PowerPoint every Friday. That's what you're gonna get. No, I'm kidding. Y'all not gonna call me out today. Y'all not gonna call me out today. So let's hear what Kelly had to say at the AMAs.
Chris Brown. Now, Chris Brown is not here tonight, so I'm accepting this award on his behalf. Excuse me, chill out.
Kelly Rowland tells the audience to chill out after Chris Brown's win at the American Music Awards.
You never know what to expect.
Yeah, a pretty unexpected moment as the singer presented the award for Favorite Male R&B Artist, where Chris was up against Brent Faiyaz, Giveon, Lucky Day, and The Weeknd.
And the American Music Award goes to Chris Brown.
But after reading Chris's name, the announcement was met with boos. And Kelly, she wasn't here for it and came to his defense.
Now, Chris Brown is not here tonight, so I'm accepting this award on his behalf. Excuse me, chill out. But I want to tell Chris, thank you so much for making great R&B music. And I want to tell him, thank you for being an incredible performer. I'll take this award, bring it to you. I love you. Congratulations.
Chris's AMA.
All right. So that alone wouldn't be enough for me to care, right? But right after that, the very next day, so on the Monday, TMZ caught up with Kelly. And Kelly had this to say regarding Chris Brown. Let's hear what Kelly had to say regarding Chris Brown. And this is where I got annoyed, mostly. This is where I got annoyed. When Kelly said the following, I probably shouldn't put this on the screen, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I have to know your thoughts on people bullying Chris. Is it sad to see?
You know what? I believe that grace is very real, and we all need a dose of it. And before we point fingers at anybody, we should realize how grateful we are for every moment that we get, for even our own things that we have. I just think it's important to remember to be human. We are humans, and yeah.
Do you feel like he needs to? He needs to get.
What? We all are forgiven for anything that we could be doing, anything that we're thinking. We all come up short in some sort of way, and grace is real, and we are humans.
And blah, 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 and blah, 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 and then some more blah, blah, blah. All right. My problem is this. How are you giving grace to people who never ask you for it? Like, are we just handing out? Before I get into this, Jordan Sparks had something to say. So it's kind of interesting too. Let me go to Jordan Sparks and let's hear what Jordan Sparks had to say before I just put them all together.
Jordan, we gotta ask you. I'm listening. I'm sorry. So we gotta ask you. Kelly Rowland stood up for Chris Brown at the AMAs. Do you agree with her that maybe we should just
asking me about Chris? But we love Chris.
Okay.
No, we love Chris. He should have been there.
What? Chris is toxic.
Do you think that people should just move on from what happened and
I think honestly, I think that shouldn't even be a conversation anymore. It's about his talent. They just shouldn't have canceled the performance. That's how I feel about it.
Right. I appreciate you. I don't want to. Thank you so much.
No, you're fine. I just think people deserve to be able to grow and learn and be able to live their life without things hanging over them. Everybody deserves that.
Yeah.
So him especially. So
thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So what's coming up next after this with stars? What's next?
All right. So that's what both Kelly and Jordan Sparks had to say. They both said we essentially should get over it. Now, Kelly didn't say we should get over it, but Jordan Sparks essentially said we should get over it. I'm going to warn you. I am putting up the picture of Rihanna at some point during this live stream. I'm putting that up because I think we not only need to see the picture of what happened to Rihanna, but we also need to read the report. So you remember that search warrant that came out with the sworn affidavit about what actually took place? Because we had Rihanna's story and we had Chris Brown's story, and then we had a sworn affidavit. And I'm just going to go by the sworn affidavit. That's what I'm going to go by, right? But before we get to that, because there is this notion that we need to get over what happened to Rihanna, as if Rihanna is the only woman who've come forward. We all forget that a couple years, so Rihanna's incident happened in 2009. Then in 2015, Carucci filed a restraining order against Chris Brown, alleging that he punched her in the stomach and shoved her down some steps. Then 2020, wait. Trigger warning. Oh no, I'm going to show the picture. I am going to, if this is what cancels the channel, then this is what cancels the channel. Because I've spoken to someone, and I'm very annoyed at this. A couple days ago, I spoke to someone, and there is a hatred, it seems, for Rihanna for what happened to Chris Brown. And I am confused as to why people are mad at Rihanna. And someone had the nerve to remind me that Rihanna went back. So what does that mean? Do we not know that victims go back to the abuser a lot of the times? Are we going to play psychologist and pretend like we understand why a victim would go back to their abuser? Are we just going to? No. So if that is your opinion, please stay in the chat, because you're not going to like what I have to say. If you come up here and you say some foolishness like she went back, so we should forgive him. If you do that, we are going to have a permanent problem. So please do not come up here and do that. I do not care who you are. If you come up here and say, she went back, so all is good, we're done. I don't care who you are. All right. So let's go back to the night of Sunday, the AMAs. And I did some digging, obviously, because Chris Brown got an award. There is some booing, and Jordan Sparks is now saying Chris Brown should have been there. And then I found out that Chris Brown and Ciara, which I promise you I can't get into Ciara. Like I'm exhausted. I'm not about to get into Ciara and her issues and why. I think she's going to be in alignment with Chris Brown as opposed to Rihanna, because Rihanna dragged her all over the internet in days past. So I'm not even going to get into that and my own conspiracy about why I think Ciara is down with the abuser, because she hates whatever. Because I'm not. I do like Ciara, and I love her family, and I love that for them. So I'm not even going to get into Ciara. But apparently Ciara and Chris Brown were supposed to come together and do a tribute to Michael Jackson at the AMA. Fine, that's great. Absolutely, it's not. So the AMA canceled Chris Brown's performance. And we know that that happened because Chris Brown posted and said, "You serious?" Would have been, I'm assuming he's saying, would have been at the AMA performance, but they canceled me for reasons unknown. So I decided to go investigate and see why the AMAs canceled Chris Brown. I had my own speculations, but I wanted to go figure out why Chris Brown was canceled. So I went to the AMA's website and I'm trying to figure it out. Apparently there was a statement by Dick Clark Production, which is the production company behind the AMAs, and their spokesperson had the following to say. Let's open it up and see what their spokesperson had to say. Good luck booking that stage you speak of. Rihanna was wild on Twitter. Oh yeah, she was a mess. So let me address this. I don't think Rihanna was the nicest person. I actually don't think Rihanna was the nicest person. I don't think that matters. But this exchange with Rihanna and Ciara, is part of my issue with Ciara. And there is no way that I can talk about Ciara without pointing out how women will align themselves with abusers in an effort to go get back at someone else. Because what Sierra did in response to this tweet from Rihanna is she reposted the picture of a beaten Rihanna, right? And she was making fun of the DV assault. Now, the issue that I have with this is obviously, if you're going back and forth with someone, you cannot tell someone how low to go. But we, as the general public, watching how low you go will, for me, determine the kind of person you are. And I do remember specifically watching Sierra weaponize a person's DV situation in an obvious tit for tat that did not warrant it in my mind. So it is what it is, and I thought that was vile. Yeah. Tiana Taylor, that I need to. Tiana Taylor posted the pic. There was a parodies. What do you call this? There's a parodies channel where they were recreating a moment where Sierra said something to the effect of, I'm going to be Chris was number one, but I'm going to be number two in allegedly attacking you, right? Correction, Tiana posted the picture, not Sierra. Sorry, I think it was Tiana, not Sierra. I needed to get that right. All right, let's continue. So the production company said the following. The statement read, live shows change all the time. It's the nature of the business. Unfortunately, this element of the AMAs didn't come together as we couldn't align on the performance to no fault of Chris Brown. So this was a statement released from the Dick Clark production. I'm just going to go for short and say the AMA said that it wasn't an issue about Chris Brown. The performance was inconsistent with the live show that they wanted to do. And I said, nope. See, if you're going to do something, do it and stand fully in it, right? Wow, Tiana was horrible. What is Rihanna's talent? Getting checks. Rihanna's talent is getting checks. That is Rihanna's talent. I'm not sure why people are, I don't know why we are trying to figure out what Rihanna's talent is, but yeah, that's disgusting on Sierra's part. Yeah, no, let me be clear about this. The statement about Rihanna's DV was done by a third party about Sierra and what Sierra had said. So that is a huge allegedly, right? The pictures being posted was done by Tiana Taylor, who lost a bunch of endorsement deal because of it. So I actually clarify that. My brain is not working right now. That was like early 2000, I think. So apologies. But apparently she talked about it. So. All right. So if you are going to AMAs, right? If you are going to stand on something, stand on it. That statement you gave is lukewarm. Well, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It's completely meaningless. And if you are going to say we stand against DV, then stand against DV. Don't sit there and say the performance was inconsistent with the show's lineup and so it just got dropped. No. That's not why you dropped it. In my opinion, someone in the upper echelon of the organization got wind of what was going to happen and pulled the plug. Because how are you giving out awards to Chris Brown, right? How are you giving out awards to Chris Brown, but you don't want him to perform? How about erasing him completely from taking part in the AMA? If you're going to take a stand, then take a stand. But I thought to myself, maybe the people on the board in terms of the AMA nominations didn't have power over who wins the award. So I started looking at the AMA and trying to figure out how we vote for what. And I found out that it is audience based, right? So let me make this bigger. Sorry. So, as the world's largest fan voted award show, the AMAs air globally across a footprint of linear blah, blah, blah. The 2022 American Music Award winners are voted entirely by the fans. So, I took my foot off the gas, and also I took my feet off the AMA's neck because it is not the AMA's problem that Chris Brown was voted the favorite R&B artist. That is our problem. The fans of R&B who decided to vote decided that they wanted to vote for Chris Brown. The AMAs decided, look, if they want to vote for him and give him the award, it's our award, but we set up a criteria. All right, we're going to give it to him, but he's not going to perform. At least, and I'm backtracking, at least the AMAs decided that to the extent we have control, we're not going to give Chris Brown any promotion, but we the people decided that we wanted Chris Brown to win. And I'm very confused. I am very much confused that we're sitting here and we are acknowledging the realities of what happens when a woman is with a man who is abusive to her, and we acknowledge how dangerous it is. And we look at not just one incident where we can hope to forgive the individual who engaged in the bad behavior, but we see a trend, right? We see a trend. We see paper trails of examples of him engaging in this way, and we are still voting this person and promoting this person and supporting this person. I am confused. And I will venture to say that the audience, the demographic of people who are voting for the R&B artists aren't white. So what does that say? The white audience are up there booing Chris Brown, and the black audience, it seems, from my vantage point, are voting for him to win awards. I am confused, but I'm also concerned. I am confused and I'm also concerned because, on one hand, the AMA and the white institution, where they had power, exercised that power to exclude him from performing. Us, the black audience, voting on R&B, and obviously I'm not. I was trying to get the demographic for the people who were voting, and I can only make assumptions based on the categories, and based on the R&B categories, I'm assuming we're the ones voting there. I could be wrong. But we're giving them award. I'm not sure what we think is going to happen. I don't know what the message we're trying to send to the rest of the world and to people within the community, but giving abusers power and accolade and money and a fandom is not telling them they should not be abusing people. If you want someone to stop doing something, how about not encouraging the behavior by supporting them? How about someone said something that but weren't these the same people mad at the Jewish community for defending its right? This is literally that video, that little short clip that I posted. This is my problem with it. On one hand, we are confused when other people step up and defend their image. People should defend their image. You cannot get angry at someone because they're defending their image because you decided that you are not about to defend yours. I don't know. And this is a huge L for everyone, all of us. Let's continue. Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote, and I was reading an article by him before I came on, and I decided to add it. It would be good for everyone to reread the police report, which chronicles what precisely Brown did to his then girlfriend. Regrettably, the legalism spousal abuse rather obscures the facts of the encounter instead of illuminating them. We are going to read part of that report. I am going to read part of that report because I think we're forgetting. We're not only going to read that report, I created a short timeline of major events, some of which I'm pretty sure I missed. I'm pretty sure I missed a bunch. Me going online to Google some of this and then finding the police report and then finding the articles about them, I'm pretty sure I missed a ton of them. But we're going to go through a timeline of some of the things Chris Brown did. Because the idea that people are sitting here talking about, oh, we should forget what happened to Rihanna is absolutely absurd to me because it's not just Rihanna. First, we shouldn't forget what happened to Rihanna, right? And to the extent he changed, even if you are very much Christian, part of the issue with sin, quote unquote, is that you don't continue it, right? You don't go to, if you are Catholic, you don't go to the priest and ask for forgiveness in advance of a sin you are going to commit. You don't go and ask for forgiveness while you're committing the sin, right? Like this is very strange to me that we are out here giving grace and forgiveness to someone who first didn't ask for it and two, did not take accountability or change. Like I'm confused as to how this grace thing is going on right now. But let's continue. All right. So let's make this bigger. So in 2009, prior to 2009, Chris Brown was just clean cut. He was absolutely, there was nothing in his past. We didn't know anything about him until this major event in 2009 where he violently assaulted Rihanna, right? In 2011, when asked about it, he just smashed the window and stormed out of a set of an interview with Robin Roberts, right? 2013, he shoved a woman violently in a club, allegedly, leaving torn ligament in her knees. 2015, there was an allegation that he forcibly ejected a woman from his bus. This was also the same year that Karrueche would allege him hitting her in the stomach and shoving her down some stairs. There were issues in 2016 where the female tour manager claimed that he threatened her with brutal physical attack. 2019, Chris Brown, these are allegedly at the 2016 to 2022 also. Chris Brown and two accomplices were taken into custody in Paris after a woman filed a report of aggravated RAPE. And then there was a 2022 RAPE charge, which was dismissed. I am not saying all of this is all true and all of it is accurate. But what we know is from the time we saw abusive behavior in 2009, all the way to present day, we've been getting reports of abuse and paperwork's being filed. I am not sure why people are saying we need to forgive and forget when all of this is still happening. And this is still happening. I'm very concerned that we're all out here saying, oh, we need to forgive and forget when it's still happening. I want to hear Kelly Rowland again talking forgive and forget, and let's explain some stuff that happened, because this is kind of ridiculous now.
I have to know your thoughts on people bullying Chris. Is it sad to see?
You know what? I believe that grace is very real. And before we point fingers at anybody, we should realize how grateful we are for every moment that we get, for even our own things that we have. I just think it's important to remember to be human. We are humans, and yeah.
Do you feel like he needs to? He needs to be forgiven for what he did. I mean,
you know what? We all need to be forgiven for anything that we could be doing, anything that we're thinking. We all come up short in some sort of way.
You want to know something funny? As I'm listening to her again, I realize something she didn't do. Something she didn't do is say Chris Brown needs forgiveness. She does this in the most general sense. She was asked a very specific question about whether or not she believed Chris Brown should be forgiven. And instead of answering the question specifically as it was asked, right? Instead of giving a specific answer to a specific question, she started speaking generally about what we all need to do. Why people do that generally is because they want to defend, but they don't want to be held down to that defense. So they're talking about something we all can get behind. We all need forgiveness. We all fall short. We all need grace. Yeah. That's all good and dandy. But Chris Brown, though. Trigger warning. Please step away and look away. I will announce when I'm about to remove this from the screen. When I click the next slide, if I remember correctly, the next slide is Rihanna's face after the 2009 incident. Please look away. I'm giving you 2 seconds to look away because I actually don't want to shock anyone and I don't want to cause any sort of issues and trigger anyone. So trigger warning, but I would rather people not look away because I fundamentally do think it is important to keep this image in our minds because this is what happened, right? So let's go to the next slide. All right, I'm going to do it. This is what Chris Brown did to this woman's face. There are 2 knots on her forehead, which means you probably pounded her head at least twice. I am concerned that we're sitting up and we're pretending like something very dangerous didn't just happen to this woman. Like someone is like, oh, this happened in 2009. Okay, and your point is? Welcome, Carlita, welcome to the membership, right? I think we need to see this. And I don't know what YouTube is going to do. I don't know if this is even appropriate to show on here, and I generally don't. But I think we're at the point where no. We need to stop babying each other and show what we need to show. This is what this woman's face looked like after the incident with Chris Brown. I don't think it serves anyone to pretend like we're not talking about a man who brutally beat a woman. Like, no. When you say he needs forgiveness, let's talk about what he did and why he needs forgiveness and how he has repented for this. Like, let's do it. I don't understand it. I don't understand how people are sitting up online talking about we need to separate the art from the art. No, I'm not about to separate the art from the artist here. I'm not doing it. If you are supporting his art, you are supporting the artist, you're supporting his abuse. That is what you're doing. I'm going to play this again. I'm going to play this again, but let me just push this in front. Because I think people are like, oh my God, Chris Brown changed, right? After this was in, I think this was in 2000, this video was in 2017. Don't quote me on this, but I have this video again. This is what Chris Brown had to say out of his own mouth, I guess 2015. It happened after 2015 because this is in response to Karrueche, right? So 2009, he did that to Rihanna. We are watching him evolve and become more of a rapper and engaging in that kind of culture. His squeaky clean image is out the window. We're hearing allegations about abuse. And then 2015, Karrueche Tran files a restraining order against him. It was approved. But this is what Chris Brown had to say. This right here is what Kiki says. People saw that photo and still backed him. Sick, yeah. But this is what Karrueche Tran had. This is what Chris Brown had to say, because it sounds like we're all saying, "Oh my God, everyone is being too hard on him. He changed after what happened with Rihanna. He became a different person. He became a good person. He didn't do it again." This is what Chris Brown had to say about Karrueche.
Niggas being like stalkers, in love with y'all, kind of crazy shit, and get tired of it. Well, guess what? I'm one of them niggas. If I love you, bitch, ain't nobody gonna have you. I'm gonna make you miserable. I'm gonna chase that nigga out. I'm gonna chase your ass around, and it's done. Ladies, y'all ever dealt with a nigga that just be like blowing y'all shit up, hopping gates, stalking the fuck out you, getting on your nerves? Well, shit. I'm one of them niggas. If I love you, bitch, ain't nobody gonna have you. Fuck that. I'm tearing up everything, nigga.
It goes on, but you guys get the point. I am sorry to the people who say, let me put this back on the screen. I'm sorry to the people who are like, "Oh, he's not an abuser. It's wrong to call him an abuser." This is toxic. This is abusive behavior by his own admission, way after the Rihanna thing. This isn't about Karrueche Tran. I am confused as to why people are saying we need to forgive. I am confused as to why Kelly Rowland is telling us to forgive and give grace. This man didn't ask for grace. This man literally is telling you he is toxic. He likes that he is toxic, and this is who he is. There's no allegedly here. He admits it. He says he is toxic. He's going to jump the fence. He's going to follow you. He's going to make your life miserable. If he loves you and he can't have you, no one can have you. I'm confused. The conversation online about, oh, he's changed, Rihanna might have started it, blah, blah, blah. He's admitting to being an extraordinarily toxic person. Kelly Rowland says, Chris deserves grace and forgiveness. We all come up short in some sort of way. In these comments, let's read one of these comments. We're not done. This person says, another example of Black Queen protecting a Black king, and I love it. Chris Brown is one of the greatest R&B artists ever, is the GOAT of his generation, and is not up for debate. All right, Grammarly, please. This other person says, way to handle it, Kelly girl. Everyone wants forgiveness for themselves, but don't want to give it to others. This incident happened years ago, and people are still expecting this man to sit in a dark cave and disappear. Rihanna has moved on, and so can he. Most of y'all don't even know these people personally to be picking sides. Congratulations, Chris Brown, for your body of work. I know him and Riri had their differences. This is what y'all gonna call it. This is what y'all gonna call it. You know, him and Riri had their differences. You know, Chris Brown and Rihanna had their differences. Let's look at the differences again. Let's do it. This is the differences Chris Brown and Rihanna had. You know, Chris Brown and Rihanna had their differences. You know, Chris Brown and Rihanna had their differences. See, this is why I think we need to see the image. By the way, I didn't say the image is off screen yet. So if you look at the screen, this is your fault because I didn't, because I'm going to keep going back for a moment. You know, Rihanna and Chris Brown had their quote unquote differences. Look at this woman's face. This is what you call their. Let's continue. Because y'all gonna bend backwards to protect people. This is why we. Let me leave that alone. I know him and Riri had their differences as teens, but now it's time to let go. He has grown into an amazing artist and father. His growth hasn't gone unnoticed. I'm happy he still runs that check up and he never gets distracted. And my sis gave him his respect. Love to see it. I'm confused as to what y'all love to see. Like I'm actually kind of confused as to what it is that y'all love to see because he just admitted on camera years after the incident, Chris Brown admitted on camera that he's toxic. He is still toxic. He said it like you can't make someone learn their lesson because you like them. Like you liking someone doesn't make that person a good person. He learned his lesson. Their differences. He literally beat that woman. Someone says, why I love black women. Okay. Do not come for Miss Kelly, baby. She will gather you quick, fast, and in a hurry. Queen things. Yes, at Kelly Rowland. Class act at all times. Congratulations, Chris Brown. We always pick our black men. Girl. Girl. I wasn't ready. I didn't see this comment. I promise I didn't see that. I wasn't ready for this. This woman said we always pick our black men up, period. We always pick our black men up, period. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that this person is abusive, admits to being toxic and abusive. But your comment is we always pick our black men up. Yeah, I guess women ought to be blamed too. No, women don't escape liability in the foolishness here. We all collectively are to be blamed for the mess. Yeah. The standards that are non-existent they're not non-existent because men, they're non-existent because both men and women. We are collectively to be blamed. Absolutely we are. How are you going to sit here? We always pick our black men. Yeah, we do. We sure do. We sure do. The question is, should we? And who should we be picking up? Like, this is absolutely disgusting. Last person said, how any of them gonna beat Chris Brown? Breezy, one of the greatest OG. He's choked us with his hits for 2 decades, even till now. So please respect his multi-talented mind. I don't even know why I added that one, honestly. I don't remember why I added that, but I just think it's funny now. Good-ish, black woman, people still tripping on that man when Rihanna has even forgave him. It's not just about Rihanna, and that is the problem. I'm using Rihanna also to talk about this because it is important and imperative that if it was only the Rihanna case, we should still have standards regarding that. He deserves, okay, period. Let something happen to him and everyone would be falling out in tears. Appreciate his undeniable gift now. Why? It's the chill out and that kiss at the end for us, a queen. Black women always got a brother's back. Congratulations to Chris, but it's so unfortunate that black men don't be defending their black sisters the same way. I mean, she literally silenced the crowd for that man and commanded a respect for his talent. As we Jamaicans would say, girl, why? Why did you have to say that part? Big up yourself, General at Kelly. Girl, eye roll. I mean, at least she points out the double standard, right? At least she points out the double standard. Because this is not about to change anything. It's not. It's really not. I believe this is what sin calls black men worship. Yeah. Yeah. Look, I already played Jordan Sparks, what she had to say, and I would play it again, but I won't. I'm not going to play Jordan Sparks thing again because why? Instead, let's go to the affidavit. I took a part out, and I mean, I guess I could go. Thank you, Noble B. I guess I could go. Themis is not here for these. I'm not. I'm definitely not. Let's go to the search warrant for Chris Brown that from 2009. Right. Let's go there. So Brown looked at Robin Fenty, Robin F, and stated, I'm going to beat the ish out of you when we get home. You wait and see. Rihanna picked up her cellular phone and called her personal assistant, Jennifer, at whatever, did not answer the phone, but while her voicemail greeting was playing, Rihanna pretended to talk to her and stated, I'm on my way home. Make sure the cops are there when I get there. After Rihanna faked the call, Brown looked at her and stated, you just did the stupidest thing ever. Now I'm really going to kill you. Brown resumed punching Rihanna, and she interlocked her fingers behind her head and brought her elbows forward to protect her face. She then bent over at the waist, placing her elbows and face near her lap in attempt to protect her face and head from the barrage of punches being levied upon her by Brown. Brown continued to punch Rihanna on her left arm and hand, causing her to suffer contusion on her left triceps that was approximately 2 inches in diameter and numerous contusions on her left hand. Contusions on her left. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to pull up the full report. I think it's on the next slide, but I'm not going to click it to pull it up because I think, yeah, it's here. I think, oh my God. Should I? Yeah, let's do it. I'm not going to read this. I'm just going to go slowly through it so that people who want to read it when it's going on can. And I'm going to slowly go down. Actually, it's on, if you really want to read what happened, it's on page 5. It starts on page 5 where for and then we go to page 5. Yeah, so we start on page 4 right here, and then we can continue to read on, and you can pause the video and read this part if you want in the playback, but I'm not going to continue to read this. What I will say, however, is when we hear Kelly, who claimed that she was abused also in one of her songs, Dirty Laundry, talk about this, I'm not quite certain how to understand it outside of the need she feels to protect her friend. But I don't think we have to only stay on the abuse part of what Chris Brown has done. We don't have to, but I'll just go into a little bit on Karuchi for a moment, right? So Karuchi and Chris dated from around 2010, 2011 to 2015, right? In 2015 is when they broke it off and she filed a restraining order against him. So let's go into what the let's go into first what someone sent a super chat and I wanted to read it. Here we go. I think what a lot of people have on their mind but not saying out loud is that those two were doing smack together, so some feel like she deserved it. Yeah, I think that's what happens. Even in her face, there are people I think are justifying that. Oh, she probably hit him first, even though they weren't there. He said she hit him first, even though they weren't there. She said he's the one who started it. The report, the sworn affidavit said he was beating her, right? So even if she hit him first, the point at which you have the upper hand, you don't continue to pummel someone. Like, I absolutely disagree with this assessment that if someone hits you and you hit them back, you have the right to then go the extra mile to actually beat them, right? So I'm gonna, Nia, thank you. I'm going to continue what the thing is, this is not just about Rihanna. That's the part that's bothersome to me. People are like, oh, it's not like he just does this or he beat her up all the time. They will go back and forth and it was a toxic relationship. Okay, sure. But now explain all the subsequent relationships where there are abuse in them. Do that. Do that. Because people are like, oh, it's the Rihanna situation and she was also toxic. Okay, fine. Look at her face, though. All right, let's stop looking at her face now. Let's go to pick a relationship with him and let's get into it. Let's talk about that. Let's analyze that. This seems like a pattern now. I'm not saying it is, but it seems like a very abusive pattern from him. The only reason I'm not saying it is for legal reasons. I'm not saying it is, but it seems like an abusive pattern. Timothy thought that's the by Felicia stance. No one felt bad about Felicia getting beat by Dito because she was a druggie. So no one feels bad for. Yeah, I think there's also a level of jealousy. And this is the part that I decided I wouldn't talk about because in noticing it amongst people who specifically did not like Rihanna when it happened, and looking at my quote unquote friends who did not like Rihanna, women who did not like her because quote unquote she stole their man, I think there were some of them who found glee in this. Like, it is actually extremely toxic that you believe you deserve to be with Chris Brown. So the fact that he did this to her, you found pleasure in that. Please note, if you were there, you probably would be getting the same thing. Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand how you are jealous and you feel vindicated. I'm going to stop because I'm actually this is my own kind of observation of what is happening to some people, and it's not predicated on a sort of valid evidence outside of my opinion based on talking to people. So disregard everything I said about the psychosis there and let's move on. So people still on the Rihanna thing. I'm confused. Chris has been putting out great music and selling well, right? Thank you, Kelly. That was over 13 years ago. What the age? All right. Let's drop Rihanna for a moment. Let's stop the Rihanna thing because people are on about the Rihanna thing and everyone seems to be over the Rihanna thing. So let's get into the Karrueche Tran thing. Karrueche claims in a sworn statement to the judge earlier this month, in 2015, by the way, Chris told a few people that he was going to kill me. She then says Chris told the friends if he can't have her, then no one else can, threatening he was going to, quote, take me out and threatened to shoot me. Karuchi also says several years ago, Chris punched me in my stomach twice and pushed me down the stairs. This would have been during the time Chris was on a probation for Rihanna beating. So, okay, good, right? We're not going to talk about Rihanna. Should we also not talk about Karuchi? Should we do that? Should we not talk about Karuchi? Because everyone is like, oh, Rihanna forgave him and blah blah blah. Karuchi has an active or had an active sorry, someone is here. Karuchi had a restraining order against him. Can we talk about that part? Can we do that part? No. Because you were not saying you don't want to talk about Rihanna because you've thought it through. You just wanted to defend Chris Brown. That's why. So when you reduce the abusive nature of Chris's interaction with other people, allegedly, you reduce it down to Rihanna to attempt to dismiss it because of the time that has passed. And your idea that Rihanna was also an aggressor. So you want to boil it down to just interactions with Rihanna because that makes you feel good about dismissing the abusive nature of the interaction that allegedly occurred. This isn't a sworn statement. Don't sue me, sue her for writing it, for reporting it to the police and getting a protective order against Chris Brown. If you're defending him, you are lying to yourself, and that's just that on that. You are infatuated with celebrity, and your infatuation with that kind of celebrity is causing you to not think clear. Or maybe this is actually part of the culture where we're protecting people who engage in this kind of abuse. I don't know why we would do that. We need to stop. The 28-year-old is now seeking to extend, this is Karuchi, by the way, reported in Essence, to extend her temporary restraining order against ex-Chris Brown to a permanent order of protection. She and Brown are due to appear in Los Angeles courtroom on Thursday. According to page 6, Tran tried to serve Brown 3 separate times with temporary restraining orders she received last month, but he allegedly dodged each attempt. The couple dated, 2010 to 2015. During the period of time, he went to jail for parole violation in his Rihanna assault case and got another woman pregnant before breaking up, which, I mean, at this point, cheating is not even a thing that we even talk about. So, like, whatever, let's move on, because if we don't care about abuse, we definitely don't care about it cheating. I'm not gonna go through all Chris Brown's headlines because whatever. His tour manager quit because Chris Brown said was threatening them. This is TMZ reporting Chris Brown shoving a woman out of the car because she wouldn't give him his phone. Like, I mean, at this point, the behavior is track. Like, and I wouldn't want to be around Chris Brown. Let's say that. I wouldn't want my daughter to be around Chris Brown. I wouldn't want my friends to be around Chris Brown. Like, I'm not about to sit here and argue back and forth with people lying about who this man portrays himself to be. Like, we're not going to do that. And the headlines aren't just from 1 year, right? Like, I could go pick a year, pull up some headlines and put it here. What I tried to do was incorporate multiple headlines from different years, right? Between 29 and 2022. Why are we giving forgiveness again? How do we give forgiveness? Because if forgiveness is just being handed out, right? Like trick or treat, here's your forgiveness, right? If that's how we're doing it, and that's how we're giving grace and all of that, and forgiveness is not about the other person, it's about yourself. If we're just giving forgiveness, then why do we have any punitive system in place? Why? Because if forgiveness is just to be handed out and there should be no contrition behind an apology, and you can just do that which you want, you don't have to change. You can make a video saying that you're an abuser essentially and that you're toxic and you're going to track down people and follow them. But we, John Q. Public, should say, oh yeah, I mean, he said he's going to make the woman's life hell, and if you can have her, no one can have her, and you are going to do all of this. And then we have reports of you doing the things that you said you would do, but we shouldn't believe those reports because those women are, so quote unquote, cloud chasers. We should just believe you and ignore the fact that you made a video stating that this is your ammo. Like, I'm confused as to what we should do. I am confused. I'm not confused at all, by the way. So let's get to some comments before we get into, well, let's do it. So under the video, where Kelly's talking about grace and peace and Jesus and God and blah, 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 and all of that, someone said, they don't get to cancel ours if we hold strong. They don't get to cancel ours if we hold strong. So we're going to protect this man from the consequence of a larger society. In this person's mind, in the commenter's mind right here, people outside of the community are attempting to hold Chris Brown accountable, but we in our community aren't about to let that happen. We are going to quote unquote protect ours by holding strong, which is what Kelly, he thinks or she thinks, is doing. All right, let's get into it. And he's not wrong. Whoever he or she, whoever wrote this comment, is not wrong. Let's do it. So you guys don't know churches. You might not. It's a European band, blah, blah, blah. One of their producers, the one in the middle, Mello, was going to work with Chris Brown. And they said the following online, right? This is what they said online. They wrote a statement. We are really upset, confused, and disappointed by Mello's choice to work with Tiger. Is it Tiger or Tiger? I don't care. And Chris Brown. We like and respect Mello as a person, but working with people who are predators and abusers enables excuses and ultimately tactically endorses that behavior. That is not something we are a part of or we want to do, right? All right. This is the issue. This group right here made a statement saying, we don't like that someone we work with is going to work with Chris Brown. What does that mean? It means whatever community these people are a part of, or at least these people themselves, have standards. They're saying, because you engage in this behavior, we do not want to be associated with you. Not only do we not want to associate it with you, we feel obligated to speaking up because someone we work with, not even us, someone we work with is going to work with you. So let's speak up now and denounce this collaboration because we don't like what you stand for. Fear. Love that. Love that for them. This is what Chris Brown is going to come back and say. Writing in a comment, whatever, he goes, these are the type of people I wish walked in front of a speeding bus full of mental patients. He wrote, keep groveling over you. I don't know what you're talking about. Own insecurities and hatred. Then he goes, I am black and proud. So he just said loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Do y'all ever hear Chris Brown talk about he black and proud? I'm not going to finish reading this foolishness. But Chris Brown just said, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, right? This is what Chris Brown said essentially there. Why? Why? Because what Chris Brown is doing is playing in y'all's face, not mine, in everyone else's face. Chris Brown is playing in y'all's face. I promise you that. He is weaponizing blackness. This is an all-white band coming out against him for what he did, and instead of attacking back or owning up or doing what he did, he played the black card. Why? Why did he play the black card? Now, I'm going to explain to you why he played the black card. Let's go back to this comment, because I think these artists are a lot smarter than we give them credit for, at least smart enough to play in our faces. When this person comments below and says they don't get to cancel ours if we hold strong. Now, this happened a couple days ago. The other one happened with Chris Brown response years ago, right? Chris Brown is tapping into this comment right here. It is the same energy that he's attempting to use to protect himself. Oh no, he is extremely black when he needs to be. Yes, he is. He is black and he is proud to be. Mind you, did anyone say anything about his blackness? Did any of those people who denounce him for his abusive ways, did they say anything about his blackness? They didn't. They sure didn't. Oh no, but he's going to tell us, he's going to trigger us into defending him against these white people because these white people are attacking. No, they weren't. They were not attacking you as a black person. They were attacking you for being an abuser. As is their right. Oh no, now you're black. Oh, but let's talk about you being black for a moment. Let's go into your blackness, because if you, to the extent we accept this, your blackness comes with its own problems, and we're going to talk about those problems now and why, even with that, like DV out of it, which we can never take it out of it. Let's talk about who you have been and how you uphold white supremacy through colorism and texturism. Let's do that, Chris Brown. Since you're black and you want black people to rally around you and protect you, let's see what you have done in the name of blackness through your art. Let's do that, because you're black, right? And you're black and you're proud, and these white people are coming after you. So let's investigate what you have done being black. So he wants to beat women like James Brown. Look. But he's tapping into the comments. Like the comments saying we have to protect ours is essentially what Chris Brown is tapping into. So let's look at a lyric from a song that Chris Brown did. Chris Brown says, and I quote, "Only wanna F the black B with the nice hair." This was posted on the Shade Room. He went into the comments and he said the following in the comments. By the way, the Impressive TV, when this came out, she did a great breakdown. I took a screenshot. I don't know which screenshot. I tried. Let me do this up front. So in doing a bunch of research in what happened, the Impressive channel's video was very well done. Chrissy did a video on it. And I forgot where else I took a screenshot. For all the times I use a screenshot, I try to include the content creator's name there. So I just wanted to put that out there. Anyway, so he goes, "Y'all tripping. Y'all bees don't want to F the N-word with the effed up teeth, do you? Only bees upset is the uglies, not the black queens." So the only people who are upset are the ugly bees, not the queens. So Kelly apparently wanted to be the queen. Let's do it. Because we're not going to escape this part of the conversation. And I have a slide for it, I think, but if I don't, let's do it now so we don't forget it. So when he goes, only the ugly bees are upset, not the queens. What is he doing? He's gaslighting you. He's attempting to trigger you into thinking if you speak up about your discomfort regarding his degenerate ways and him degrading Black features. Because let's be clear, he's not talking about, oh, when I say good here, I mean healthy. No, we know what you mean. We know what you mean. Everyone, if you're Black, you know what he means when he says good here. We know what you mean. I'm not about to explain it. I'm not about to sit here and pretend like we don't know what you mean. We all do. And if you are in the chat or anywhere online on your phone, I don't care, thinking, oh, well, he could mean this, you're wrong. It is that simple. You're wrong. He meant what he meant, and you know what he meant, and I'm not going to explain it any further. So, we know what he meant. When he goes, only the uglies are upset, not the Black queens. What he is doing is he is making you feel uncomfortable speaking up out of who would be classified as one of the quote-unquote uglies. Kelly Rowland actually spoke up in defense of him. Didn't really, it was a comment. So apparently Kelly Rowland is one of the queens and not one of the uglies. So Kelly Rowland has been doing this. Kelly Rowland is one of the queens that he's not talking about. And y'all, anyone else who's mad are the uglies. So what would have been powerful if Kelly Rowland, who is known to be one of the most beautiful women alive, would have spoke up and say, no, what you did was disrespectful. Now tell me I am one of the uglies. Tell me no. No, you have to hold your friends accountable. If not in public, in private, and you don't have to speak up in public, you can talk to them in private, but you don't come out and support degeneracy publicly. Be quiet publicly and then talk to your friend privately. That is the best approach to a good friendship. All right, so Tokyo Van, I don't know these people's names, sorry, came out and explained that, I'm not about to read this, but essentially what she said is that security prevented dark-skinned women from going into Chris Brown's section at the club, and that Chris Brown had a policy where he did not allow dark-skinned people, women, in his section in the club. Now, you can be gaslit and you can say, oh, why were dark-skinned women even trying to get, I don't care about that. I care about the policy that he made to prevent dark-skinned women from getting in his section. That is colorist. That is the definition of colorism. So I'm going to continue. He responded, and instead of just apologizing like a regular human being, he then goes and says, all the angry uglies that's mad at what I said, post a pic of what you look like, please, he said in a video. I'm not about to read all of this. He just said you should post a picture of what you look like so he could drag. He did some foolishness with the picture of the lady that spoke up and said he wanted to take her on a date just to drag her. It was a mess. I don't really care about that specifically. What I do care about is the fact that it was confirmed, and under his comment, Kelly Rowland went on and tweeted, "We love you, Chris." In the midst of what was going on, where he was talking about Black women's hair and how he's going to buy Black women weave, and talking about something about Skid Row edges. I don't remember what he was talking about, Skid Row edges. I don't know what a Skid Row edge is. Didn't look it up, didn't care. All I'm saying is, in the midst of this, where he's dragging Black women, where women are coming out talking about Chris Brown has a policy where he does not allow dark-skinned Black women in his section, right? Where he's talking about women's hair, excluding women, Kelly Rowland comes out and say, "We love you, Chris." Why? Because she wants to be one of the queens, in my opinion. She does not want to be categorized as the uglies. She wants to be categorized as the queen because she's not upset. She's going to show not just her friend Chris Brown that she's not upset. She's going to show the world that she's not upset by saying, "We love you." Who is we? Chris, please tell us, Kelly, who is we? Ooh, the queens? The queen? Because he said the uglies are mad. So the uglies, quote unquote, aren't out there supporting him. The uglies don't like him right now. So when you say we love you, are you speaking on behalf of the quote unquote queens? Because you now are part of the queens, because good for you, you're not upset. We love you, Chris, because the queens know you're not talking about us, right? You're not talking about us. You just mean those uglies over there. As you have put it in your own words, the uglies over there are the ones that are mad. But we love you, Chris. In the midst of this, thankfully, Tika Sumter came out and said, absolutely not, in the classiest of ways. This is someone confirming that Chris Brown has a policy excluding Black women, and they tried to kick her out, but she worked at the club or whatever. I don't care. I don't know why I put it up. This is Chris Brown's mother. This is from Chris's channel. Upset. Oh, this is well, it's not that important. She's like, headline news here, seriously. Now, what has this world come to? Now, she's upset that people are upset that her son is talking about here, and she's confused as to why people would be upset about her son talking about Black women. Look, look, I had a drag, but I decided not to. Let's continue. Tika Sumter wrote, and I really truly appreciate this. Let's make it like that. She says, "Dear brown girls, don't let this world trick you into thinking a velvet rope or a person has the final say in who you are, what your self-worth is, and how gorgeous you are. Read your history. It's deep, beautiful, and worthy." Now, I'm going to leave the last sentence alone. But yes, I appreciate that people, women who everyone can agree is beautiful, decided, at least Tika Sumter came out and said, no, 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 no. It's not just the quote unquote uglies that are upset. I am also having something to say about this. You can call me ugly if you want. That's your prerogative. But I'm upset because what you did was out of line. And she did not address Chris Brown. She addressed the women. I so appreciated that she came out and said this, because we had Kelly over there just bending into a pretzel to protect Chris Brown, talking about we love you. I'm sure they do. I am sure they love her. So when Chris Brown says, I am a proud Black person, in response to white people to weaponize Blackness against the white people who are trying to hold him accountable, a lot of white people jumped on the bandwagon to protect Chris Brown from people who said nothing about Black people, mind you, but they were talking about holding Chris Brown accountable for what he had done. And instead of saying, I've grown, I'm sorry, blah, 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 or I don't care what you say, he decided to include Blackness in it so that we could go and fight. But before we go and fight for someone, what we should do is investigate their work. Okay, you're Black. Great. We see it. We love it for you. Now, what have you done regarding Blackness? If it's neutral, you didn't talk about Blackness, and period. Let's go and fight the good fight. But when you've actively participated in the degradation of the quote unquote Black community, you don't get people's protection within said community. That is my opinion. Now, you can look at this channel and that channel and you can say what you want about what is happening, but I know fundamentally what I'm trying to do. When you say specifically black women, dark-skinned black women should not be included in your section, and you attempt to exclude them. When you talk about here in the way that you have done, you are intentionally disparaging this community. Not only are you disparaging it, but you're upholding white supremacy. Now you want us to believe that you're fighting against white supremacy when people are trying to hold you accountable, and we should turn and fight for you? Absolutely not, Christopher Brown. Absolutely not. You can do that all on your own. Apparently, you've just fight everyone, so go ahead and fight your own fight, because we're not about to do this. And then the hip hop man had the audacity to come out in defense of Chris Brown regarding the foolishness and his colorism. Look, I don't put Little Duval or whatever his name, Little Duval Devil, whatever his name is, I don't really care. I don't put him on here because I don't really care about what he has to say. It's never interesting, it's never fascinating, it's never thoughtful, it's never meaningful. But I'm gonna put him up on here now. So he says, why is it a woman can say she don't, why is it a woman can say she don't like short dudes or light-skinned dudes and it's okay, but when a man say he don't like dark-skinned women or fat bees, he is effed up. He's an effed up person. And then T.I. comes in and goes, excellent observations. Girl, I don't know. Thankfully, I don't know who Bobby Fino is. Sorry to this man. But thankfully, someone with sense came in and said, because it's not rooted in the same level of anti-blackness that has been permeated throughout our culture and, more importantly, our history. But I don't feel like arguing, so let's agree to disagree, period. At least someone stepped up and said, yeah, nah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to liken your dislike for a skin tone to a preference in terms of bad teeth, right? Bad teeth that you can go and fix. There is an issue with what Kelly did. A ton of issues with what Kelly did. And it's not just on her. Let's look to the comments to understand. So this comment read under the video where Kelly is TMZ video. Amen. Speak, Kelly. People are so quick to point a finger at other people's mistakes. God said, not y'all quoting the Bible. Look, I would have, well, let me get big. Before we do this, let me get big. I made a vow that I want to break. I made a vow personally and publicly to not discuss my journey with Christianity publicly because of how heated it gets. And I do not want anyone to feel like I'm disrespecting their religion, which is my religion, but I recognize, not Themis out here with a PowerPoint, I recognize so fundamentally that the way in which we use the Bible is so wrong. I recognize it. And we're not willing to admit that we're weaponizing the Bible in certain kinds, in some ways. And I'm not about to sit here and pretend like we're not. But forgive so you can be forgiven. Not forgiving can hinder our prayers. We need God's covering over us and our family. Lord, I repent of my sins. Oh my God. Y'all done lost your mind. Like, Lord, I repent of my sins, known and unknown. I ask for forgiveness on this 11:20. Girl, I'm not doing this. I'm not finishing. What I put this on here to say is, you're out here praying for your sins and asking for forgiveness in the way that you're trying to have us extend that kind of forgiveness to Chris Brown. Point me to the video where he did this and asked for our forgiveness, and then point me to where he changed his behaviors. That I've presented my case for why I don't think grace should be extended and forgiveness should be extended. I've presented my case. Present this for me, because this don't make no sense. It doesn't. Someone else says, she's not lying in this day. Oh my God. She's not lying in this day and age. We've seen, she's not lying. Period. In this day, yo, someone said get hooked on phonics. Like, this is such a problem for me. I feel like when we go online, we just write and we don't really care. So let's continue. In this day and age, we've seen worse by those who aren't famous and they're being protected. Let that man grace us with his talent. Billboards, please give this performance the light of day it deserves. So let me get this straight. If this logic is to be taken to its extreme, what the person is saying is, let me get bigger. You don't need to see my face for this. She's not lying. In this day and age, we've seen worse by those who aren't famous and they're being protected. Instead of saying we shouldn't protect those who are not famous, he's saying because those who are not famous get away with this kind of behavior and worse, we should let the man get away with what he did. That's what he's saying. Let's continue. I have been praying for Chris Brown. Why? I mean, sorry. I forgot what Christians do pray for people, so it's fine. Like, I'm a terrible person talking about why. I've been praying for Chris Brown for a long time now. Apparently, the prayers aren't working either. Oh, sorry. All right. Let me read this fully and let me not make any comments while I read it. I have been praying for Chris Brown for a long time now. There are many things that we go through in life. Many of them will bring us where we need to be. He has faults just like everyone else. Grace and mercy is for all of us. Nobody is perfect but God. He won't sin without sin cast the first. Period. Y'all better be throwing these Bible verses in to the foolishness. I like the way she stood up for Chris Brown. Okay. So I've been praying for Chris Brown for a long time now. And in my opinion, your prayers have not been working, Pearl Jones. There are many things that we go through in life. Yep, it's called life. We go through things, but we don't beat someone's face in. We don't punch people in the stomach. So I am not sure what this means. He has faults. I mean, abusive, okay, just like everyone. No, not like everyone, because everyone is not punching people in the stomach and punching people in the face and confessing on camera that if you can't have the person you like, that you're going to track them down and make their life a living hell. Like, no one does that. Grace and mercy is for all of us. Okay, yes, from God, but for now we're holding people accountable in the real world. Nobody is perfect but God. Agreed. I don't know why you say that. He without sin cast the first stone. So we should ignore killers? Like, because we've sinned, we should not do anything about people who have done harm? Like, I'm confused. I'm confused. We all do things we're not proud of. I don't know what this means. He deserves to be recognized for his talent. No, he deserves to be recognized for what he has done, which includes beating multiple women. Allegedly, one of them is confirmed, two of them, yeah. He made a mistake and he has grown. Where has he grown? Tell me where he has grown. Someone else says, very true. The problem with Chris Brown is that he keeps making the same mistake. All right, so he hasn't grown. Like, and what is very true about the statement above, if you are confirming that he keeps repeating the same mistake, how are you grown if you're repeating the same mistake? You know what, let me move on. Let's move on. Maybe there's a better comment that I put up. Your forgiveness is not for Chris Brown or anyone else. It's for you and you only. We can't forgive others, then we cannot expect God to forgive. Yeah, Oh my God. I'm not even going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not. Let's continue. This person says, we're still talking about something that happened 13 years ago and she forgave him already. So where do we get off holding that against him? Okay, we're not holding that against him. Karuchi Tran. That video he made about how he's going to stalk people. That. How about that? Oh, the comment he made about people's here, the exclusionary way in which he treats black women. That. We're holding him accountable for that. You don't get to boil down all he's done to Rihanna. You don't. He does deserve forgiveness. It's been over 30. I'm not reading this. I'm not reading this. I didn't read the last one because I know why I put them up there, and I'm not going to engage in the way that I put them up there. It's already an hour and 30 minutes, and I thought I would be able to get through this in an hour. I was wrong. Let me summarize by saying, Kelly, you dead wrong. Chris Brown, you dead wrong. And we collectively are absolutely wrong in the fact that in an award show where we got to vote, we voted for Chris Brown to win, and then we turn around and be upset that the people in charge of the show decided we're not going to let this man perform. You, Kelly, then extended your image to protect someone who is not just an abuser, but a known colorist and texturist who does not step up for other people in the way that we understand. We had the game talking about we should boycott because Chris Brown deserves to be there and what we need to do and how we need to do it. Absolutely not. I'm not about to boycott anyone, right? The fact that Chris Brown gets to weaponize blackness in the way that he does, and we jump to his protection, this is in line with Kanye West. It's in line with Kyrie Irving. It's in line with everyone who does this kind of stuff. And they look out, the baby, they look out of the community. And when they're being held accountable, we seem surprised because we don't have standards internally. We need to get some. Other people don't have to and should not have to lower their standards to to meet us where we are. We need to develop standards. That these band church is saying we should not be associated with Chris Brown because of his past fear. I like that. We as a black audience should also say we should not be associating with Chris Brown because not only of what he did with Rihanna, but everything after, literally everything after. So that is how I'm going to end it there. All right. Now that that's out of the way, the one argument I am not about to accept is this: Rihanna forgave him. That's the one argument that I'm not going to accept. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to deal with it, and I don't want to deal with anyone who has that argument. To have that argument is to be remedial, period, point blank. That is it. That is all. I'm not about to do it with anyone who do it. I'm just going to remove you. So I'm going to post the link. And if you think I am wrong, and if you have a defense for Chris Brown, not even Chris Brown, if you think I'm wrong and you think there's something that I'm missing about Christianity, about Kelly, about her interaction with Chris Brown, please come forward. If you go to defend Chris Brown, know that I won't take it easy on you, but also know that I'm not about to sit here and listen to you tell me that Rihanna forgave him. You're not ready for this conversation if you say that. All right, let's go. And while I wait, because this is already probably unwatchable, let me post that link and you guys can click it and I will be quiet and take a moment. We all should take a moment to decompress. The unfortunate O'Shea Duke Jackson made a video and I was going to watch it, but he made a video about Kelly Rowland, and I promise you, it's just not worth it. I might, because we have 30 more minutes and I want you guys to come and then we can do it. So you'll have probably 3 more minutes to come on, and I'm going to be a bit quiet for the 3 minutes because I need to actually relax. I'm very much heightened and I need to relax. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I did. I definitely did. Do the after show music. Oh, yeah, let's play the after show while I wait for you guys to come on. Hey, Helena.
Hello, Timus and chat.
So
Um,
you're here to defend?
Listen, this whole situation is like a roller coaster to me because when I was a little girl, I used to be a die-hard Chris Brown fan, and like ever since the Rihanna situation, I side-eye him. But when years passed by and I didn't see any other like negative behaviors for him, I started to kind of forget about it. And then the negative behavior surfaced again. So I was like, okay, so this is a pattern. That's what I kept on like kind of typing in the chat because it's like once you do something once, even though it might be hard for everyone to look past it, you might get a few people to look past it. But once you keep on doing the same thing, it becomes a pattern. And for someone who love Chris Brown and Kelly Rowland's music, I'm just like really disgusted and disappointed because um like how can you defend that? Like I just can't. Like I mean, if it and you know, you guys can hate like you guys will hate me for saying this, but I have to be honest. I will listen to a song that I like. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna get on here and cap and be like,
But
oh,
that's the problem, though. Wait, first, this is for people who are going to defend Chris Brown, and not just Chris Brown, because I kind of don't want to hear that, but defend Kelly's position or the Christian position on this, right? That's what this is for. But on that note, though, before you go, I am really saddened by that reality.
I know, and me too. But hear me out first. Hear me out, please. I do not follow this man on any social media, along many rappers that I find problematic. Any person who is an artist, I pick and choose. First of all, I don't like all his songs. I like Forever with You and a couple of other songs by him, right? And some of them are, you know, I don't want to get in trouble for saying this. They might or might not be in MP3 form. So they're not getting any revenue from me. So I am very strategic with my kind of way I go about it. I'm not going to say just because Chris Brown is like this, maybe he didn't even write that song. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's an image, he's a brand. And sometimes some songs they write and even like the way the music is produced is it doesn't all come from them. So I would listen to a song that I like, I would download it if I need to, but I'm not going to follow them, I'm not going to buy anything from them, I'm not going to support their next project or none of that. So if it's just up to my support, they're not going to be successful if that's the route we're going to go.
All right. So let me say this. It bothers me still. And I think we all have our flaws, and I like that we can admit them. So
Yeah,
that's fine. My issue fundamentally here is I think we lack self control about how we go about engaging with media. Now, I
yeah,
respect the fact that you say you make an effort to make sure that your engagement with Chris Brown is absent any kind of revenue he can get from
exactly.
it, right? But I do think it's important to be able to withdraw support because outside, like Erica will talk about energies. I don't really get into that here, but I think there is something to be said about the consumption of media by people who and art by certain kinds of people. And this is supporting, we might not know how maybe it's just in views, but everything else. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm saying that I do fundamentally have judgments
Yes.
for people who engage with Chris Brown. And I do know people in real life who will go to his concert and will go and will intentionally try to support him. And
Right.
like, I don't understand that Black women who would not be included in his section and who have the kind of hair that he disparages. Beautiful, amazing hair, but he disparages it. And I don't know how they segment in their mind
Right.
this kind of distinction between the art and the artist. I don't know how they
And
do
I
it.
and I have to say, I agree with you. That's why I even defend how I'm doing it, because I know it is wrong. That's why he have even a little speck of celebrity he still has, is because some of them follow him on social media and support his next projects. But if it's just up to me and me listening to Forever once a year and with you maybe twice a year, he's not getting anywhere with that kind of support that I'm doing, that might or might not be on an MP3 player. So I agree with you. It is disgusting that by and large, as a group, Black women, we are enablers of this. We have to come to a point where we're not just pointing fingers and be like, these men are bad, these men are bad. Well, they're bad because we condone their behavior. So I
Yeah.
agree in that aspect.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much. I
you.
do hope you can stop listening to him, but I can't tell you
I
what to do.
will. I will.
Have a good night. Kat, what do you disagree with?
Hi, Themis. Can you hear me?
I can.
And you can hear me clearly? I just want to make sure I just got these earbuds.
Yeah, nope, can hear you.
Okay. So I guess I will attempt to defend Chris Brown in this way. I think the reason why we as a community need to defend men, problematic performers like Chris Brown. I even see women defending Future. A lot of our face it. A lot of our Black male performers, Dre songs, a lot of them are very, very problematic with their behavior, whether it's alleged, whether it's on video, the baby, the list is endless. And I think that the reason why we as a community find a need to forgive this behavior is because I think we figured out a long time ago that that's the only way that we as a community can help our Black men achieve their goal of parity with white men. And this is a community-wide support that we want to try to give them. When they get these record contracts that turn out to be predatory, what do we call it? We call them, a Black man making it out. We don't say anything when, as soon as a Black man gets put on, he, in my Kanye voice, leaves his come-up woman for a white girl. And then, much like Chris Brown, when that white girl turns on him and tries to keep her half Black kids away from him, what does he do? He turns to the Black community and he tells us, oh, this Karen is trying to keep my Black kids away from me. But the thing is, he would not be allowed to turn the other cheek like that if we didn't give him permission to do it. We're the ones that give these men permission to act problematic, say self-deprecating things, trash our community, trash the community's women, and then turn right around and play in our face like we're stupid because we allow them to do it. A person is only going to treat you the way that you allow them to. So we as a community, I think we have co-signed on this behavior a long time ago. When Black women were standing guard at the entrance door of the Black Panther headquarters so that men like the Soul on Ice author, Eldridge Cleaver, so that he could go and bang white women in the back. That is when we co-signed onto that behavior. When we just, and I think it's because we know, look at our community. When you look at the Black community as a whole, you do not necessarily see a community of men building. It's because they've told us a long time ago where their focus was, and it wasn't on the community. It was getting money and getting white girls. And a long time ago, Black women are like, well, they're not going to like us unless we capitulate to them and do what they want us to. So how about we get on the bandwagon as well? We'll co-sign their mixed children and call them Black.
So on your argument, you're saying
Mm-hmm.
you disagree and you do not like the fact that there is a support for men who want parity with white men, and this is how the Black community and Black women view their relationship to black men in terms of helping them reach their goal. You're saying you disagree with that.
I'm not, well,
You disagree with helping.
you wanted to, well, I don't really know, because if something has been going on for such a long time, if you
No,
don't
no,
really
no.
like it, you
Do
just
you think it's a
distance
good
yourself
thing?
from it, right?
Do you
Do I
think
think
it's a, wait, do you think it's a good thing
hmm
that you all are helping and protecting black men like Chris Brown?
I don't, but I don't think it's going to change. So I guess at least an explanation as to why things are the way they are is a good place to start. I don't see it changing, because if Chris Brown was to go away tomorrow, there would be another problematic black man saying
I mean,
nasty
he
things
doesn't
about
have
black
to
women
go
that we'll
away.
co-sign
He
on
doesn't
to.
have to. He doesn't have to go away tomorrow. There's R. Kelly and Trey Songz. There's
Right.
so I mean, yeah. But so you are not defending the position. You're saying it's a historical reality, and it probably won't change.
Yeah, I do see so. And I think that if we as a community refuse to change it, then just accept it for how it is. And maybe
No,
just
that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. So I'm going to
well,
go
that's what the
politely
community
say
is
no.
saying. So
Well,
I
yeah, I
may
mean
not
that's
agree.
what the community is saying, but I'm not about to accept it.
I don't want to, but if you don't like what the community is dishing out to you, you got to go sit at another table. And I made that decision a while back. So I'm like, if
Yeah.
y'all want to keep it the way it is, more on you. Good luck.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye. Passionate Bliss.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I would not like to extend grace to Chris Brown. I would like to extend grace to Kelly, in her role as a friend. Because if she's saying, and I don't know how close their friendship is, we can't know. But if someone is your friend, because I have, male friends, and I know I can think of one in particular who's really been there for me when I was in a desperate situation and I needed help, and he showed up and he was there for me. And I think of that friend. If anybody attacked him, I would try to find a way to find grace for him, or I would be digging under rocks to say,
Okay, what if
what
no
could
one
have happened
wait.
to make him
What
do
if
that,
what so the friend who's helped you, let's say they gave you a kidney. If
Okay.
they're attacking someone uncalled for, and it's uncalled for, do you put yourself out there to protect him even though he's wrong and he's the aggressor?
No, but if that friend called on me, I would feel a certain level of obligation to respond to what had been done for me. And so I kind of want to, even though it's not right, right is right and wrong is wrong, even if they're your friend. But I would want to at least be able to show in some way that I'm responding to what he's done for me. Because I don't know what, Chris Brown has possibly done for Kelly in her career or in their interactions. And so, but there's a certain level of obligation that comes with friendship. And if that person has truly been there for you. And so I feel like sometimes people can get confused as to their loyalties and to if that person has really been there for you personally, in a situation where you were desperate. Because in this particular situation, I was actually desperate, and he showed up, and so it would be very hard for me to condemn him.
Yeah, but you don't have to condemn someone publicly. You can correct them privately. Like you don't your role as a friend is not to heap on to the pile of disparaging remarks that's being aimed at your friend. You could, however, speak to your friend privately and encourage change.
Right. Now that I would do. That I would do. And I would not have gone as far as Kelly has gone. But I can actually and when I think of him, I can actually think of the position she's in as a friend. And I kind of want to extend.
To be
I want to
fair,
extend some
like
grace to
literally,
her.
wait. So literally, all the chaos is going on about here and black women, dark-skinned women not being allowed into his section. Nobody at all. Kelly, we love you, Chris Brown. Like literally, no one asked you. Because you understand your position as a black woman by putting we, you understood your position and you were using that as a shield to protect him. And maybe there was a conversation behind the scenes to get her to do. Hopefully, there was a check and a conversation behind the scenes at least. But that speaks to integrity, and there would be none there if that kind of exchange occurred. But at least there would be some compensation for the fact that you literally throw yourself, your image, in front of him to shield him by saying, yeah, we queens are here to protect you after he's disparaged the collective of Black women.
Right. But I feel like, I mean, personally, I would have had to make a disclaimer. Well, I don't agree with everything he's done. Can we at least have some grace? So I kind of want to give her a little bit of grace. I want to give the grace to her, not him. But
yeah, I mean,
so
I give her grace in that I think Kelly has accepted her role at you. That's dead wrong. Let me not put what I believe about anything out there. And Beyonce is not about to catch any stray bullets now. That's my queen right now. But I understand, based on watching hours and hours of Kelly Rowland's video and interaction with Beyonce and people's promotion of Beyonce and degrading her, I accept that she has a very particular kind of interaction with the media, and she came up in a time where the quote unquote exoticals were promoted, right? Light skin was promoted. So I think she might not have felt anyway regarding the comment Chris Brown made, right? And so, because she is accepted, maybe she's not pushing back in the way. Let me stop there, because there's a lot that I'm thinking about that needs to be verified before I put it out in public. Let me just move on from that and say, as a friend, your responsibility is not to protect degeneracy. It is not to shield abuse. It is not to cover people who engage in bad behavior. Your, in my opinion, position as a friend is to make the other person the best person that they can possibly be. And that might be to give them the hard truth, either publicly or privately. I don't think it's okay to defend someone because they did something good for you when you know they're dead wrong.
Right. I feel like what she did at the award ceremony to stop the booing and accept the award for him, that was okay. But when she went further on afterwards, I wouldn't have went that extra step. But
what she did at the award show is indicative of our culture, and that's why I have a problem with it. What she did at the award show highlights a distinction between that which Black people were willing to accept and that which white people were definitely saying absolutely not to.
Okay.
But I would have made a statement as I did, and I would have left it alone too. But it's the follow-up about Grace, and then really thinking about the fact that she showed up to cover him with the colorism and texturism portion of the discussion that happened, and then watching Jordan Sparks do a similar thing, and then putting it together and saying, yeah, no, we need to discuss this. Right. But yeah, I wouldn't have done it if it was just what she said. Yeah, and it also highlights the regalness in some ways and the power. I know a lot of people don't like to hear power in relation to Black women, but of Black womanhood, and that the reality of Black women always kind of stepping up and saying no or yes or protecting in this way. Mm-hmm. And it's annoying because it's not reciprocated, but not only is it not reciprocated, it's taken for granted online, where people feel the need to go further than just ignore Black women to disparaging them. So yeah, anywho, thank you so much for coming up. The back chat seems full, so I'm assuming everyone disagrees with me there. So let's go to the back. Thank you. Miss T, welcome to the membership. Truth teller.
Well, good evening, Themis. How are you tonight?
Doing well. How are you?
That's good. I'm well, thank you. I don't entirely disagree with you. I agree with you on one part, and then I wanted to defend the idea of grace on the other part. I don't stand with Chris Brown at all. Although I will say, like the original person that was speaking, the person that came on first, I wasn't aware, and I'm grateful that you brought up all of the other things. I did hear about the Karuchi Tran thing, but not the other incidences that has happened. I did hear about the colorism thing, though, in terms of like a continued pattern of degenerate behavior towards women. So I think it's very important that you did that, because I just assumed that the Rihanna thing was like the worst of it. So that did contextualize things very well in terms of the reason why we ought not to support him. But with regard to grace, I feel like Kelly used the word appropriately, because grace, the definition of it is unmerited favor, which means that he does not deserve it. And that grace typically comes from God, because he's the only one that can grant that, because he's the only one that's all perfect and all holy. It is very difficult for us as human beings to give that grace, particularly if someone has done something to harm us, and particularly, if that thing that they did to harm us is severe. In which case it is concerning Chris Brown. So there's that part on the grace piece. In terms of forgiveness, however.
But when you say only God can give it, so you don't disagree, because I'm not about to give it, so to him.
Well, people can, only God can, there are some human beings that have done that, and God bless them, because they are altruistic.
So God's going to bless me for giving grace to Chris Brown.
Pardon?
So God is going to bless me for giving grace to Chris
Yeah,
Brown.
actually he does, because he says, if you bless those who despitefully use you, you get an extra blessing. If you pray for those that
the context of grace in the realm of Christianity is to turn the other cheek.
Yes, I guess you can say that.
So when Chris Brown behaves badly and does not ask for forgiveness and continue to behave badly, we should give him grace. And God,
I don't know about should give him grace, but
if we give him grace, God looks down on us and say that's good.
Well, that's very hard to say, because the thing is that there is also the concept of justice, right? And which God champions justice as well. But in the context of Kelly, I think context is key here, because the Bible also says that, God will not be mocked. So, and again, and you mentioned it earlier, the thing about sin and forgiveness and all of this stuff is that there is an idea, though, that you do not continue to perpetuate sin continuously. And insofar as there is no evidence of changed behavior, right, then obviously God is not an idiot. You understand what I'm saying? And he's the ultimate arbiter of justice. And so I trust that God is as just as he says that he is. So in the context of Kelly, I think she's offering him grace because she is his friend. And so she can choose to do that for herself. Grace is not required.
No. Kelly didn't say I give him grace, period. Kelly said,
oh yeah, that's true. She was saying that we should give him grace because we've all made mistakes or whatever. She can say that, but it doesn't mean we have to do it. People can say whatever they want.
Saying she should get, God looks favorably on someone who gives someone else grace, but if that someone is doing the bad thing continuously, it's still something that a good Christian would do?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not about to do that with this.
What's that? Oh, the timeline of... Yeah, I don't think so. I think the grace would come in to be like...
Wait, by the way, this is not a complete timeline. When I started going through the years, I just got really annoyed and just chose... the first one I chose intentionally, and everything after that except Karuchi in 2015, I randomly chose because it was easier to sort through them. Okay. There were more. A lot more.
A lot more than what's on this...
Yeah, I didn't
right now. Wow.
I don't.
That's the next thing. A lot of people didn't know that, and I don't know to what extent Kelly is aware of all the things that he has done and gotten.
Well, you are not that much of a friend, then, are you?
Right, and so this is where I agree with you in terms of I'm one person, myself personally, in my own life, that I adhere to truth and justice. Hence, why I put my name as truth teller. Because even my own, I've had to reprimand my own brothers in the past for the ways in which they have treated women. I've cussed them out. And because that my friends know me as that person. If you want somebody to lie to you, don't come to me. Don't come to me with your foolishness, because I, as a human being, I adhere to the golden rule of treat others the way you would like to be treated. And so because I am a woman and I date men, like if one of my relatives, I don't care if we're blood or whatever, I don't believe in blind loyalty. I believe in telling people the truth whenever the truth needs to be told. And I don't care how long I've known you. I don't care if you're my friend or you're my family member. I will tell you the truth, plain and simple. And so in that case, if I was Kelly and if I didn't want to like diss my friend in public, I would have done as you suggested and just like said nothing in public and then like taken it up with him in private.
Yeah.
But the way that she went so hard for him, I don't think that she's saying anything to him in private either, to be honest. So
I mean, that's the problem. But thank you. LB's in the back. Other people dropped out. Okay. Thank you so much, Truth Teller. Let me add LB.
Okay, bye.
But if all sins are equal in God's eye, are you giving grace to people who toe tag Shanquella, to abusive parents, to someone who hurts kids? This is the problem with religion: blind compliance. I should have waited to drop her Afro Butterfly so she could have responded to this. I apologize. You guys are wild in these comments. Thank you, by the way, Afro Butterfly. Kelly Rowland has forgotten it wrong a few times. She also, all lives matter, here texture discriminate. She is the one that deserves our grace. Actually, I didn't know about this. So LB, go ahead.
Okay, so as we all know, I don't like Chris. However, I was like, is there a possible argument here for like people like Chris taking Chris out of it, right? If that's okay. And what I've decided is, I guess like the best possible thing I could think of is the idea of abusers not being able to be reformed. And what I think about is the fact that with a lot of abusers, they were abusees at some point. So you could try to argue that Chris himself was a victim at some point or something. And God, this is why I can't be a lawyer for the people who do that shit.
Was he a victim at some point?
No, but I'm saying like we could give him the benefit of the doubt to say that we don't know his entire life. He could have been a victim of something at some point, and this could be why he acts the way he does. If that is the case, then would it be possible for him to address his core trauma and then reform himself? I'm not saying he has been reformed, but is it possible that he could be? And if it is possible, then who are we to say that he hasn't been reformed if we don't know his personal life? I mean, like, we could look at the record, because like the record definitely says that that's not the case. But when does the record end? And like, how long has it been? Has he been?
It goes on until 2022, so currently it has not changed. But
I don't follow him no more because, like I said, I've been divested from that situation since high school. And I don't want anybody to get twisted. Like, I don't defend Chris at all. And I generally don't defend abusers, but the best argument that I've heard is like the idea that like abusers have been abused and have a core trauma that hasn't been addressed. So if they address it, they can potentially grow. Like, that's the best argument I could think of. And it would.
But you would agree, though, hopefully, I'm assuming I know you enough to say this part, you would agree that you've been abused doesn't give you a license to abuse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It means that it needs to be addressed. And so, like, what I would say is, like, for somebody whose life we don't know the details of, we could, like, someone could come out and make an argument for them saying that they've been through XYZ therapy, whatever, addressed their traumas, made amends, blah, 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 whatever.
No, that doesn't. For me, that doesn't hold much weight, though. Like, I'm being like upfront. Like, it doesn't. I don't see the value in your personal trauma when it comes to what you have done, to the extent we're not talking about. To the extent we're not talking about you getting help. Like, if we're talking about you getting help, then sure.
No, I get that. Like, in the case of, I guess, like, I didn't actually come up here to complete the assignment, but like, more so against the idea that like abusers can't change. But as far as Chris is concerned, I think that's a pathology, and I think it's one that can't be broken.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the attempt. Let me remove the voting.
Oh, can I
Go
one
ahead.
other thing that I thought about during this?
Wait, before you do, let me announce again. LB and I have been trying to find the winner of the Thanksgiving. There were three. Two of them got their prize. The third person hasn't. You have until Sunday, and I'm done trying. Just FYI, like, because we've told you the email. I'll put it up again for which you should respond to. And I'm sad because this was supposed to help for Thanksgiving, and now it's like turning into a reimbursement for Thanksgiving. So there are going to be strict deadlines moving forward for claiming prizes for things that we're doing, including what's coming up Christmas. And we're setting a deadline for this one, which is Sunday. Go ahead.
Okay. Also, like, with consideration to what I just said, even if it was the case that he had got help, made amends, and all that stuff behind the scenes, like outside of the public eye, that does not negate the fact that there are consequences for your actions. You can fix something, repent from it, change, and still be responsible for your consequences.
Yeah.
Like, if you assault somebody, you go to jail even if you feel bad and you say sorry. Like,
yeah, I mean, accountability is not an excuse. Grace is not an excuse from accountability. Like, I can definitely forgive you for stealing my money, but you're gonna give it back. Like,
exactly. Like, we do this all the time in my work. But the other thing that I was thinking is that I lost it. I'll come back.
no, you're
because
fine.
I lost
All
it.
right, I will add. Thank you so much. Let's go to the what. The what?
Hi, Venus.
Hey, what do you think I'm wrong on?
Oh, sorry. I don't think you're wrong. I just wanted to give a shout out to last week's live where you were discussing the culture, the Black community's culture, and people were kind of gaslighty, trying to say like, oh, there are good sides to the Black culture, and you didn't say there weren't good parts of the culture. But the fact that this man has a history of doing bad things, and for me at least, it was already like, okay, he's not going to change, or he hasn't changed at all thus far, so I'm not going to promote him. It was very easy for me. But the fact that I've been arguing with women about this for years, and it's like, I'm tired, and I wish we could we could actually have the dialogue about like our culture, about like all the goods and the bad. Like, it looks bad for us promoting him, and it sucks for me because I'm a Black woman, and it's like, when I'm trying to have a conversation with a man and they're like, oh, but it's Black women who are supporting R. Kelly, it's Black women supporting, Chris Brown, it makes me look bad, and it frustrates me because it's like, Jesus Christ, I'm not asking for a perfect pop star, but this ain't it. This is not even mediocre. This is terrible. He's a terrible person. And Kelly, like, all these other women, like, Jesus Christ. Anyways, it just makes me feel bad because it feels like it reflects on what the Black women are putting out there, and I'm tired. It's always like I have to come to the rescue of a man, but yes, Megan the Stallion, defend yourself. Like, good luck with that. And it's exhausting. Like, why can't we be there for each other? It's so sad.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will announce one more thing. For people in the back chat, if you agree with me, please drop, and only the people who disagree with me should be in the back. Just an FYI. All right, I'm gonna add some more. All right. All right, some people left. Good. All right, well, I don't see anyone who disagrees with me. Also, I wanted to be added to the Discord. Oh, sorry, that The Discord isn't open currently. We're going to open a general one after starting the new year, and we'll add people to that, and we'll see what happens. But the private Discord isn't open. We will reopen probably in the new year. But yeah, all right, cool. So no one disagrees with me. Oh, here's someone. Hi, Kate.
Hi, I wanted to know what you would say to the argument that they're just musicians. They make music. That's their duty to us. They're not responsible for, making their personal lives appealing to their or to people who listen to their music. Like they don't owe that to us, and no one should be concerned about that because their job is to make music, not to be shining public figures.
Would you, when a corporation is dumping chemical waste, right, and causing pollution in a way that is actually destroying people, right? Would you say that us going to that corporation and purchasing whatever it is that they're producing, even though they're destroying the neighborhood on the back end, is consequential?
Well, I would think that that's a poor analogy because in instances like that, you actually have a substantial amount of people who are actually suffering. But how many people can we count who are suffering at the hands of just one man, Chris Brown?
All right,
Maybe
so
probably not as many as, people who would suffer from something like chemical waste.
all right. So chemical waste in the analogy, you think is too direct.
I think that it is it's not analogous at all because that's such a there's a small pool of people who Chris Brown has like hurt directly.
Right.
It's
So the
not
analogy,
affecting.
all right. So the analogy becomes a problem for you if the amount of people are less. So if you're supporting an entity that harms a few people, then that's okay.
In the status quo of today,
No,
looking
no,
at
no. I'm
society,
asking for
that
your
is
personal.
okay.
I'm asking for your personal opinion.
No, I don't. I actually don't agree. I don't think that it's okay for anyone to hurt people. But I don't. That's
Wait,
not what
wait.
we're
Do you have a
stating, though.
responsibility if you know that the corporation you're supporting is harmful,
Mhm.
but it's only harmful to very few people? Do you feel there's a moral obligation for you to withdraw support, or do you not care about it because it's too few people?
Mm, I mean, obviously, I would care. I mean, what would caring look like? Like me
Yeah.
withdrawing my support? I if I would have to decide, okay, to what extent do I care, and do I care enough that I would withdraw my support? So I may care enough where I decrease my support. I may not care enough where I completely withdraw it.
All right. So if it's harming people, you don't think you have a moral obligation to withdraw support?
I think that in reality,
No,
like
no, I'm asking you specifically about your moral compass.
yeah, so my moral compass underneath all of that is like rational behavior, self-interest, just like the rest
So
of
if
us.
what they're producing you can get somewhere else, you don't feel the obligation to.
Now that's different. If what they're producing I can get somewhere else, then definitely there's no reason for me to support them.
All right.
But is that the
So
case with
no, 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 that's fine. What if what they're producing you can live without, have a great life without? You would still support them because why?
I mean, I would still support them maybe because like not going through the things that it takes to like not support them or whatever may be like just too much effort or like a waste of time or an inconvenience. I mean, we do that all
But,
day like
wait,
when
wait,
we have the
it's not a
opportunity
waste of
to.
time because if you withdraw support and they don't have your
Uh-huh.
financial backing, they cannot continue to do that which they're doing, which harms people, even a very few.
Right. So what I'm saying is we're presented with these kinds of like decisions every single day.
No, I
Like
mean,
there are
wait. You can draw the distinction if you want later, but I'm saying, do you think you have a moral obligation if you know this thing is directly contributing to the harm of people that you should withdraw support?
I don't have a clear answer for that. I think it depends.
All right. So when it comes to Chris Brown specifically, you don't think he's harmful to the culture?
I don't think that he specifically is harmful to the culture. I don't think that withdrawing support from him is gonna do anything to like there's a million Chris Browns. Like I don't understand how canceling him is gonna change anything.
All right.
I don't even know if it's possible to cancel him. I mean, because you still have people who are, praising R. Kelly, and there's probably going to be another musician like him. I mean,
Yeah, wait,
in general,
wait,
musicians
no.
tend to be.
That argument doesn't work, by the way. It's a logical fallacy that I'm not going to get into, but the idea that because we already support bad people, that we shouldn't even consider not supporting this bad
I
person.
think that
Doesn't work. To the extent we're talking about Chris Brown, you're saying you don't believe he's doing something bad.
No, I don't think that he's doing something bad that's going to
All right. So
collectively harm.
wait. So you don't think the collective of young Black girls hearing that they have bad hair is something bad?
Hearing that what?
Chris Brown saying these women have bad hair, or these women don't have quote unquote good hair, you don't think that's bad to the collective of Black women who have the kind of hair he doesn't like? You don't think him promoting that is bad?
I think anyone promoting something bad about anyone as far as their image is bad, but I don't think that it's anything extraordinary. I think that
Does
no
something have to be
no one's forcing you to listen to him. You just like choose not to listen to that. Like I don't understand why
that's the conversation we're trying to get to. I'm saying you withdraw support from people who are damaging
yeah, like
you.
why does it have to be labeled as like withdrawing support? You just don't like it. Like
yeah, wait, no. You can like the music, but you choose to not support it because of what he represents. Remember, we're talking about effects that happen, not just about the art. You can like the art. You can like the art and you can withdraw support from the art that you like because of the artist. That's literally the conversation we're
So
having.
were you saying that he said that in a song, or like he just said that
he said that in a song?
Yeah, so my thing would be like, how can you like the music when you don't like the message? That's something that I wouldn't understand.
The beat is good. That's not the question at hand. We're ignoring the question. If someone is promoting something bad about a group, they can withdraw, and I would argue they should withdraw support from the artist.
If they care about the collective, but if they don't care about the collective and they're just living in their own world, then
that's fair. But I'm talking about you caring about yourself. And so if you have the kind of hair and you're the type of person that he likes and you want to support him, fine. My question is not for those people. My question is for the people who he claims he doesn't like. And I'm trying to figure out why those people would support him and not withdraw support.
Yeah, no one should support someone who's like shitting on their image. That just doesn't make any sense. It's not rational at all. I'm not gonna tell someone to listen to someone who's making music that their hair is bad. Like but I'm also not gonna be like, hey, you need to go like protest against this person. I'm just gonna tell them like, don't listen to that.
Well, that's on the here bit, right? But there is also the colorism bit where you are supporting someone, not you, well, I don't know what you do, but who is saying dark-skinned Black women should not enter.
I don't listen to him.
right?
Yeah, I don't think that whoever Chris Brown said was ugly in his songs or said anything to that effect, I think they should not listen to him as their own personal choice.
Yes,
But do I
and
think
that's fine. And I think
that it's
part of the
worthy of like
issue is,
having a
and this is,
conversation
I
and a
like,
debate
yeah, I
about?
like this. I like this because I think also it highlights that there are people who will step on other people to be accepted. But not only that, if I am being promoted, then it is not my obligation to help those who are being stepped on. And I think it's kind of fascinating hearing it in real time, the reality that, oh, well, if your image is being disparaged, then yeah, don't support him. But that doesn't say anything about my obligation, right? And I think it's not inconsistent with the real world. It's how the real world works. It's if you believe that your image is being upheld and you're not being damaged, then why would you have a moral responsibility to care for people whose image might be? I think that's generally what tends to happen. And I think it's important that dark skinned black women, men also protect each other, but that's not going to happen, and protect themselves in terms of protecting their image. Um, I think it's interesting though that there are people who are like, oh, I don't see anything wrong. I am not being damaged. So the few people who are being damaged, I don't care about them. Yeah, I mean, I think that's generally what it boils down to. So that's fine. I don't see a problem with it. I mean, I morally see a problem with that, but I would never. I'm assuming that's you in your picture. I would never tell you to like go out there and fight the good fight for people who don't look like you. But it is what it is. I don't. I mean, you're fine. You're muted if you're trying to speak. Kay, you're muted. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Oh, well, she left. I did not kick her out. Anywho, um, so I do think it's interesting. I think in a lot of ways, this also highlights why it is that you have to be protective of that which is yours, and you cannot look to other people to sort of case back. Hey,
Yeah,
Kay.
I lost connection. Hey, I do have a confession to make though, Themis.
Mm-hmm.
I really am playing devil's advocate because I've had these kinds of conversations with like my mom and my aunts, and these are the exact like talking points that they will make. They will say that he's a musician, it doesn't matter, just focus on you. You don't need to turn everything into a movement. Just be for something, not against something. And it's tough, like sifting through all of that. You know what I mean? So I thank you for drawing these points out. I did my best that I could to play devil's advocate and flesh out these disagreements.
Thank you for clearing that up, that you were playing devil's advocate. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Right. Sorry, I have to go. All right. So I don't think there is anyone else here who disagrees. Everyone dropped off. Um, so I actually need more than a moment. But thank you all. I'm going to allow 2 or 3 more people. If you agree, disagree, I realize there are people who wanted to come up and speak, who didn't disagree. I kind of wanted it to be a moment of disagreement where maybe I have a blind spot that you guys can help me correct. But to the extent that I don't, because most people who came on were playing devil's advocate, it seems. So to that extent, we can push the disagreement with me off. And the next 3 people who comes on, sorry, I'm going to, there's a thing happening that I need to do also. Please come up and we can have a small conversation. So going once, team is, no. Hey.
Hey, I'm just saying happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
And we
Thanksgiving. Wait.
all disagree for the most part.
All right. So the stream is closed. Now let me close the thing in my on thing. All right. The stream is closed now. This is it. Go ahead, wake up.
Hi. So, you know, a lot of us disagree. We disagree, but hey, uppity. Here's the thing. We do need to be stop supporting them in any way. Like the streaming helps support them. Like I don't get that part. We don't need to support them. And we already know as a collective, it is probably a majority of Black women that are helping this man still support the lifestyle that he is living.
Which is frustrating to me.
It is.
Because it's like, on one hand, we are talking about colorism, we're talking about futurism, we're talking about DV, we're talking about Black femicide, and we are also like uplifting this person, talking about we need to protect him. I don't understand it this. And I do think we all have a moral responsibility to the community. That's my stance. But I recognize not everyone have that stance. So I try not to push that. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, it is frustrating. Regardless of morality, like if that is not what guides you, just look at the facts. The tweets that he does, the comments, the rhetoric, you cannot say that he doesn't like dark-skinned women. You cannot say, based on reports and things that you can look up as public record, that he is not violent. I don't care if he's an entertainer. Let him go. Like, we don't need to be supporting him. He does not need to get any money from us. He does not need anything from us because he does not respect us.
Yeah.
Period.
And I can't tell y'all to do that, but that's my suggestion. So thank you, Wake Up Makeup. So I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. I heard you.
I did. And last week when we were watching the video, Ruby said, "Hi, Teamus." So I just want to let you know. Yes. She said hello. Yes. So anyway, everybody have a wonderful holiday. We just love you over here. I'll go back to the chat.
Oh, hold on.
Hi.
Sorry, I just want to say, I'm sorry. I love your lipstick color and you're beautiful.
Thank you.
I've never seen that lipstick color. It looks gorgeous.
Thank you. It's Urban Decay's new lip vice. I'll go find the bottle and I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
While you're at it, go ahead, Annalicia.
So hello everybody. Hello, Timas. Wagwan, Timas. I think if nothing else, these conversations, I'm not gonna lie, they are depressing. This is depressing for me, but if I'm trying to see things in a more positive way, this gives me a much better idea of where Black women are at, just in terms of collective thought or collective ideology, what we're sort of doing that is contributing to some of these issues. Which and a lot of it is sad. And I know some people came up and they were playing devil's advocate, but at the end of the day, these people, the Chris Browns of the world, and there are many. He's not the only one, but they're still being supported by Black women. They're still being, a lot of people have reverence for these people, and I think that it's a little bit dangerous. We have to be careful when we talk about grace and trauma, because I think we have to get to a point or sort of a fork in the road where
we really do need to employ a militant approach, and then maybe the grace we have to afford that grace to ourselves and the community that we're trying to build, because I think that's where it's going to be needed. I think that this is this is really depressing, but just because I grew up in an abusive household. I grew up like it's not that it's an excuse, because we understand how patterns of behavior work. We understand how trauma works. But Chris Brown is he's in a position of status, power, and affluence. So if this is someone who truly wanted to do something about the trauma that he experienced, because things can be done, especially when you're in a position like his, he could absolutely do something about it. There are resources at his disposal. There are so many things that he can actually do. And I think he chooses not to, because again, he's still being supported. If he doesn't lose the support, it's almost like hitting rock bottom, right? Like if narcissists, and I'm not saying narcissists, if they don't hit rock bottom, I mean, people just continue to do what they do. So I think we need a militant approach. Like we really, really, really do. This is just sad.
I actually agree. I feel like, I don't know what happened. I didn't remove her. I know it's here. I do. But actually, let's continue so we can get through. Melinda.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to say hello first of all to everyone. What I did want to say is, I don't want to say we shouldn't do that. I wanted to say, as dangerous as it can be, I would say that can we have, I guess, a little bit, I don't even want to use the word grace, just patience then for Black women, because I'm realizing just how far behind Black women are and how thorough the brainwashing has been in this community. Tonight, my best friend hung up the phone on me when she asked me, she says, so you don't believe that Black men, that men spiritual head, and she says, well, this is why you won't get a husband. And she said that, so like about Chris Brown themes, I didn't even know that he'd done this much, but I mean, and I also want to say this. I think that arrogance is something else that I think that maybe sometimes Black people might, it's arrogance, but it's also a feeling of people wanting to be seen as being good. Like if you have, let's say we lose a relative and we go out and we say we forgive the person. I don't even think that that's humanly possible to do. But I think that the attention it garners, the feeling we get, because people look at you as like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I mean, someone has mentioned today, like the Bible's like, only God can be this perfect being. So if you're trying to be kind of godlike and you say you forgive without even processing something, I think that it's all things that we've learned, and it's not real. I think it's a lot of acting, but it feels good, and it gets you a certain type of attention. That's what I think. But with Kelly doing that, she's just doing what I seen a lot of Black women do, and I think that the women who are maybe most hated, most despised, then they do it the most. So I don't know how close she and Chris Brown could actually be. That if he has a woman who's a friend who looks like Kelly, why would he even do this?
Right.
So that's what I wanted to say. That's what I want to say.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Annalisa, that's the lip thing down there by Wake Up Makeup Slay. Thank you so much, Melinda. Kay.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to turn this volume down so y'all are not hearing all of this background noise. I can wait for, Prince Petty. He comes on every now and then, and it's pretty entertaining, so I can wait. Give me 1 second.
LB, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna wait for Petty too, but since I'm here, so full disclosure, I've been drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I lost one of my thoughts. I really came up here to play, but like I think that, like, if you're okay, so if you're known in a space, if you're not known in a space and you come in to play devil's advocate, that should probably be addressed like up front. Just like to protect yourself in the future, okay? And then as far as the rest of it, I fully agree with Alicia, and I was kind of hoping somebody would come up and drag the best argument I could think of for a person like Chris. And I just want to say thank you for that. And thank you for the chat. For those of you that dragged me and those of you that didn't, I appreciate both. I fully forgot my other thought because, alcohol. Bye.
Wait, what happened to LB? Hello?
She just finished and dropped off.
Oh. I think she was addressing Kay. Kay? Did you
No, I
want to?
don't. Yeah, I don't. It didn't seem like she was addressing me.
Oh, all right.
It didn't, or maybe I missed something. But I just wanted to say that I think that this culture of bashing Black women runs really deep. And it was not my intention to frustrate you when I came up here to play devil's advocate. I just genuinely didn't think that anyone was going to actually come up here to actually disagree with you, and I don't think that that happened. But I did want to know what some of your arguments would be for some of the points that have been made. Like I had to sit at a whole Thanksgiving dinner yesterday listening to older Black women defend R. Kelly, and not even they weren't even defending him, they were just praising him as if like all of that stuff was non-existent. So but I'm seeing that this culture of bashing Black women is really deep because if we even look like we're doing something like wrong, or we even look like we're not all the way Black, or we look too Black or whatever, like people come after us. And like the chat has basically proven that point. Um, but I'm happy to hear that it seems like most of us are on the same page, and I think that that's progress, at least here in this group. I want to know, like, if there's ever going to be a way for us to actually reach those Black women who do feel differently, and who can come up here and honestly and vehemently, argue against you so that we can actually see progress that's being made. But I just agree with the last caller when she said that it's really deep. The brainwashing is really deep. And yeah, I want to apologize also to you because it seems like you're kind of frustrated, and that wasn't my intention at all.
Oh no,
And
I wasn't. So it wasn't frustration. I was confused. I was
okay.
confused, but I was also disappointed. Disappointed in disappointed in the fact that when you were talking, it felt like you were saying, "Well, I'm that girl, and y'all just mad y'all aren't, and I'm not about to stop
Wait,
supporting."
what?
Yeah, no, it felt like you're saying, "I'm not about to stop supporting something, even though it's damaging to other people, because I'm not the one getting damaged." That's
Yeah,
kind of what it
some
felt
of
like.
that, some of that, some of that point, I was trying to flesh out a little bit of that because I often get met with, "Oh, you're just trying to be against something. Why waste time and energy being against something when you can be for something? If you don't agree with something, then just leave it alone." I get met with that all day, every day, by my mom and other Black women, especially when it comes to things like this, like Black male figures, in the public eye that do things that end up creating a ripple effect on how our image as Black women. But I do want to say that I don't want to get too much on my soapbox here. But the comments in the chat were pretty hurtful. Like they said that my mom is a Karen. My mom is a fully Black woman, so is my dad. I'm half Haitian and half Black American, and like people are bashing me in the chat and stuff like that, and I think that That's part of the culture too. That's part of
yeah,
the culture.
yeah, but like that's part of the culture, but it shouldn't be a part of this culture. Things are moving too quickly. Hey, let's try not to attack each other. I don't think that's okay, particularly when I want people to have differing opinion. Though to be fair, Kay, if you were playing devil's advocate, I wish you had said it up front, and also
Mhm.
to the chat. I also wanted people to disagree, and so some disagreements might not be good to listen to. So to that, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you
when I came up
can,
here, I did say I asked you, what would you say to people who say this, this, and that? That was the first thing that I said. But I understand what you mean.
yeah, and it's difficult because one, I'm not going to apologize to on behalf of the chat um, for this main reason. I think obviously most of the women here are Black women, and so
Mhm.
if they feel like part of their identity is being attacked, they are not about to sit back and let it happen. Like I know that much, and I respect that much. So I just
They
wanted
felt
to
like
put that out there.
they felt like I was attacking my own identity as a Black woman.
Oh,
Like
but they
I'm just
didn't.
confused.
Yeah, no. They did. No one knew who you were in terms of your identity. Like we know who
Yeah,
you are
because
because
I've
you're
been
supposed to be.
here before. Like I've come up here on the stage like before.
Oh, really? I apologize. I don't remember, but yeah, if you have, I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah. And no, I'm not expecting you to. And just for the record, I do agree with you. I don't disagree with you. But and this is it's a serious topic. And some people are saying that I'm manipulative and dishonest, and that's just not fair. That's just not fair. And this is really sad. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to even do this. And look at my hair. I'm a Black woman. My hair is in braids.
Wait, good. I thought you were Doja Cat for 2 seconds.
You thought I was Doja Cat? I'm just real light skinned.
You turned on the camera, and I was like, "Wait, I'm gonna clip this
Yeah.
because this is Doja Cat." Wait, I hope
Like,
that's not. Is that disrespectful? I just think you favor Doja Cat. I apologize. I don't know if that's
no,
not
I
a
don't
bad.
think it's
Uh,
disrespectful.
I
I
get it.
don't think that's disrespectful. I'm hella fucking light skinned, so yeah. But
Mm.
and someone's like, you should probably stop reading the chat. The chat is part of the whole thing. The chat is part of the whole thing. Like people in the comment section are being ignorant, and I don't need you to apologize on their behalf, Famous. I just think that it's just fucking miserable. It's just fucking sad that like, and Prince Petit comes up here all the time and play, and maybe you guys know this because like he's been on the channel for such a long time. He plays
Whoa,
devil's
whoa,
advocate all the time,
wait a minute. Whoa,
and
wait
I
a minute.
think that
I've
that's
never, I've never, I've never came up here and joked a day in my life.
that's funny.
Yeah, I think part of that is the fact is knowing Prince Petty, right? So like, I think once people get to know you, hopefully it will be one where it's simpatico also, right? Like the synergy is gonna be there. Because again, the chat will. I'm trying to open the chat almost every time I go live so that people can come up. So everyone is welcome.
And I did inform you guys. I did inform Themis and you guys at the end that I was playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
So like you guys can stop saying that I'm being dishonest because
No,
obviously I'm
wait, no,
being
no, no.
honest.
Wait, no. The dishonesty I think they're saying comes from playing devil's advocate. Like
Okay,
when you
so on your channel, playing devil's advocate is being dishonest.
no. Playing this devil's advocate is a, allowed. LB came on and said, "I am playing devil's advocate," and then went on, and then we engaged in that way.
Okay. Well, maybe I didn't know that I needed to put that disclaimer out there. I thought the way that I was phrasing the question, yeah. Anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to listen to the show. Your chat has like your community. I've never seen them act up this way, and I've been here multiple times. Like people have talked to me before, and like it's like they don't even know who they're talking to. It's just hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I don't like that people are having negative experiences here. So please chat.
And no,
Please,
I'm not biracial. I'm fully black. There are light-skinned black women. We're not biracial. Like, you guys can literally just stop.
yeah.
If you have a
And,
question about my ethnicity, you can come up here and ask me about it.
well, not they can come up here and ask, but they can definitely ask in the chat. Because the thing is closed. But I will say, hey, I thought Alicia made a comment, and I do actually have to recognize this. It can be very difficult to see hundreds of people at once saying disparaging things about you or like disagreeing in an overt and explicit way. So I recognize that. Um, I am not sensitive to it, and I'm glad Alicia wrote it there because I want y'all to drag me in the chat, right? So I'm fine with it, but I recognize that it can be really hurtful for people who come on, and we want to make it where people can come on and disagree. So to the extent we can wind it back some, please, please, please do so now. All right. Okay, thank you so very much. Have a great
Thank
night.
you. I love your content.
I
I
appreciate
watch every video.
that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you continue. And I do hope you come back on and remind us who you are so that we can get familiar with you and your sense of humor. Yeah. Annalisa said, let's reset, and I agree. LB?
Okay, dang. She told me to be a bigger person. Let's reset. I didn't come here for that.
Oh, yeah, no. Let's not. No.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, yeah. I guess I'll go to the Discord.
All right. I'm in the Discord too.
I'm
So
like seriously trying to think of like a nice way to
let's not
say it.
mention the Discord because people are feeling left out. So
Oh, my bad.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
I
Cool.
think I could without. Oh, never mind.
All right. Prince Betty.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. I guess Kay hopped off, but I just wanted to say that that woman was not playing devil's advocate. She was playing the devil. She definitely needs to take
No,
that clip.
stop. We're
and sing it.
resetting. Nope. We're resetting.
Okay. Well, I did have a
wait.
whiteboard.
Before you go, there are people who said they got kicked out of the Discord. You guys can drag the moderators for this, but it's not their fault. There is a policy where if you're inactive for a certain period of time, the moderators can remove you from the Discord because let's talk about the Discord off because I don't like bringing up the Discord, honestly, because it feels like a promotion and it's really not. But all right, go ahead. Prince Petty?
You're asking me not to be petty, to clarify.
Are you going to address Kay?
Well, I think her argument was misrepresented.
No. Are you going to address Kay?
I don't have to present her argument on my whiteboard in a better fashion, I believe. Well, she said it wasn't her argument. She was arguing for a friend.
So the petty in me want to see it, but the paternalism in me is saying don't do it. So I am just not gonna do it because it's hard. Like if you were doing a whiteboard about me, I would not mind because like drag me all day every day, but like to do it on someone who is obviously upset right now, particularly because she believes she was misunderstood, I think would be harsh. Like it would be too harsh. Like I don't know if I can do that.
Kay definitely said when you initially called on her, she definitely said, let Prince Petty go. He always have the whiteboard. I'd like to see that. She definitely
Because
said
she didn't know she would
That
be
is
the subject.
true.
She did not know she would be the topic of the whiteboard.
she's not. Her argument is, and she said the argument is not hers. Therefore, it's detached from her. Okay.
Hey, I figured out a way to say what I need to say, and I can make it completely about me, not her.
No. Wait, what's up with y'all tonight? This is not okay.
Pretty
She
pieces
hopped
of the
down
cherry
before
on
I could.
If Kay,
So,
I mean, unless Kay is giving us the permission, I can't. I'm not gonna. I'm sorry.
I can't speak about myself.
What about yourself? Wait. Be careful, LB. Here's the thing. Let me there's a part of this that's funny and like ha ha ha, but there's also a part that there is a human being under all the memes and laughter. And I
Yeah.
don't want us to lose the humanity in an attempt to like have fun. And I know I'm a killer, the fun killer.
Can I say a nice thing and then a funny thing?
Let's never take a personal jab at people. Please chat. Let us just argue with the point that we disagree with. Yeah. Thank you, Helena. All right. Go say the funny thing, LV.
Oh yeah, real quick channel thing. The next person that puts one of those words that we banned on there, I'm just blocking you, like deleting you. I don't want to, but I am going to do that. There are banned words. I'll make sure that they're clear on the next live. And then aside from that, I definitely understand like how like some people are like judging because of like backtracking or gaslighting or whatever. And I think that's like a reaction that people have when they feel attacked. So I understand the reaction. I don't agree with the reaction, but I understand it. Now, the thing that I wanted to say is that so I had to come to this realization for myself. I have two black parents. I have a black parent that's like medium brown skin like myself. And then I have a parent that's like really dark skin, right? And although I have those two parents, both of them black, that doesn't change the fact that genetically or like ethnically, I still have almost a quarter not black. So like I think that is a little bit dishonest and it's very like obvious when you look at certain people's phenotypes, even if they're Black American. Like we all know that we have a little bit of other stuff in us. And some of us have more than we could think. So all I'm going to say is like, if I appear how I appear and I'm almost a quarter not black, then like, can you be mad at somebody who appears more mixed than I do? Or like, am I saying that right?
I hope not.
Like,
I don't.
I feel like I said that backwards. Alcohol is evil. Anyways, so pretty much like if I could be almost a quarter not black and appear like I do, and then somebody who looks more mixed than me appears how they do, can you be mad at somebody for like assuming that they have at least a quarter or more not black in them? Does that make sense?
Yep. No, I mean, it
Okay,
makes
I'm
sense.
done being messy. I hope that wasn't too messy.
That was messy, but thank you for not
You
going
could
the
ban me
extra
for
mile.
like a couple lives. I'm sorry.
No. You're fine. You controlled, and that's fine. All right. Annalicia.
So I kind of wanted not to piggyback off of LB. LB, this girl said I was dragged by. Listen, nobody dragged you. We love you.
Oh no, I'm not talking about today. Like I've been dragged in the past. So I was telling her like, be careful when you come up here. Like you might want to put a disclaimer in front of stuff because some people are a little vicious.
So I think that that's probably something that we should have a conversation about. Obviously not now, but have a conversation about it in a meaningful way. So, this is your channel, it's your community, it's your world. But I think that in order to, oh my God, hold on, my nephew, 1 second.
Prince Betty.
So I think my thoughts outside of the whiteboard have already been said. I don't think what Chris Brown did was good. Hopefully no one does. And I don't think it's okay to forget it, especially when it's been happening over a long period of time. But also, I do understand kind of the sentiment of everybody makes mistakes and everybody has those days or whatever like that. I wouldn't go so far as apply it to something like abuse. like the type of violent abuse he does, but I do at least understand that sentiment. The thing about that is, part of that is behavior change, right? And like you said, it's becoming a pattern where there's literally too much for me to look up to put on a slideshow. It's too much work to gather all this information and do it. So it's like you work in legal, right? So part of what the judge looks at, for example, let's say you just ran over a family of 4 and there's only 1 survivor. That was oddly specific, but are you coming into the courtroom like, please don't sentence me? That was so long ago. Like, what about my life? You're going to ruin my life. I'm so young. I have so much life ahead. Or are you going to come in there remorseful? I think about what I did every night and I feel so sorry for the family. I want to apologize to them if there's anything I can do. And Chris Brown has showed that he does not do the latter. He doesn't really feel remorse. He went so far as to, I think, come out with a documentary where he was basically, I'm the victim here. She hit me first. So, everything I did to her was justified or warranted, which I want people to think about the next time maybe a police brutality incident occurs where a Black man may escalate something and then the police respond with deadly force.
That's a good analogy. That's analogous. That was good, actually.
Yeah. And what I would have liked to see from Chris years ago, I think it's too late at this point, would be a genuine apology and a genuine shift in behavior, maybe an investment in therapy, maybe some counseling, some anger management, and a legitimate behavior change. And at that point, I'm not forgiving him. I don't generally forgive people who do something that violent, but I understand now people who may forgive him after he makes a legitimate effort to change. And I've seen people do that before. So those are my thoughts on the situation.
Agreed. I agree with you. And also, he made a video literally saying that he's going to stalk who he loves and make their life a living hell. Like, he's admitting this stuff online that he's not changed. So it's like, what is there to forgive? If you don't understand phenotype versus genotype, be quiet. Period.
Yeah, I think to what to Prince Petty's point, I think that's I actually would say that's probably a cultural issue that we have, where we don't require a change in behavior. We don't even require an apology, and an apology is like, that's the baseline. But the change behavior is how you really follow through with the apology. And I think culturally speaking, we haven't really required that. It's kind of we've become complacent with respect to our morals and what we value in behavior. So yeah, this is like a cultural problem. It's a problem. But what I was saying before is yeah, we have to figure out a way. We have to figure out what it means to be on code. What being on code, like who's a part of the club, because it seems like we're outside of everybody sort of becoming extremely upset or antagonistic or and calling names and everything like that. Outside of that, it doesn't seem like we know who's a part of the club and who's not, right? Like, is it light skin that's not, or like, we have to define what it means to be on code and who that applies to. But I really think that, especially for Themis, especially considering what he's trying to do, I think it's important for us to have a conversation about, because this is the problem. Like, this is not Black men. I can't, much as I love to, I can't drag Black men right now. This is behavior that we're seeing from ourselves and women right now in real time, and it's a problem that's probably worthy of a conversation. I wanted to talk about the biracial plight, but I guess we can do that when you're reset and you're ready to go. Because I have questions about biracial people. I've had some interactions with them recently, and there are a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think we can definitely power up a stream some other time and talk about that, because I do think there's a lot of people who have messaged me who were concerned that they don't feel completely safe as a biracial. I mean, to be fair, everyone has been messaging me saying they don't feel safe as a this person, as a that person, and it's like, all right, well, we need to figure it out. So we can start with biracial. because that's not going to be an easy conversation. So, period. Thank you, Prince Petty, Annalise, and LB. So the one of the stream was very academic. This one was a bit messy. Not really. I thought it was okay. And then the other one we'll have more for conversational stream. So yeah, I think we'll do that. 90% of all Black Americans are at least quarter not Black. Wouldn't you agree, Themis? I hate when complexion comes into a conversation. Well, I don't understand the quite like.
I think, can I?
No, wait, no,
Ask me anymore?
no, because it's like complexion comes in because there's a huge colorism elephant in the room, and to ignore that exists is to ignore the experience of so many people who suffer at the hands of this reality. Like, I don't understand. Yes, colorism is a problem, and so we have to talk about skin color and complexion in certain conversation, particularly about colorist men who are being supported by the community.
Yeah, and I think that this conversation, I think it's going to be it's going to be informational, but I think it's also going to be very difficult because there are levels to this. Like, there really are levels to it, and we kind of have to pin down what it is that we think we believe collectively, or what we should believe collectively, and what we're going to do moving forward. And colorism, like, there's so many levels to all of this. It's going to be a good time. But I appreciate you letting me come up to say that we can do better. I just want to say we can do better. If nothing else, the baseline of being on code is let's do better. We can do better. We can agree to disagree. Respect should be the baseline. I don't care what you're Black. Respect is the baseline. For sure.
By the way, M. Badger, I'm not sure I understand your comment. So to the extent it felt disrespectful, I was a bit aggressive in my response. It's that kind of night. So anywho, thank you all so much. A truth teller, I was looking for a comment you made about not McLean drag the people into Wicked. But I couldn't find it, but I read it. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night. I wanted to end in 2 hours. We ended in 3 hours and 10 minutes. So, period.
Doing better.
We're
Love you
doing
guys.
better.
Bye.
Bye. Me just shaking my hands. Where is it? Let me show you. I want to show y'all something. I don't think I should, but I kind of want to show you. O'Shea Duke. No, I'm not going to play O'Shea. My head is already hurting, so I'm not going to do it. But O'Shea Duke Jackson made a video about Kelly Rowland, and there's a part of the video where he essentially said, the reason it got so big and why people care is because Rihanna is so big. So he doesn't say this, but there is a feeling almost like, well, you can't do it to people who have clout. And he doesn't say don't do it to people who don't have that kind of clout. And he doesn't say this explicitly, but there was a part of it that felt very much like he's saying, let me not put words in his mouth. I'm going to play it. Because there's a part of it, like, it almost felt like he was saying, just be smart about who you... All right, let's play it. I'm going to play it because I don't want to put words in his mouth.
Everybody, it's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Guys, the AMA Award, him and Sierra were supposed to do a collaboration, some tributes to Michael Jackson to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Michael Jackson's Thriller. And we all know that Chris Brown was very inspired by Michael Jackson. I think that Chris Brown, there's even a debate who's a better dancer between Chris Brown and Michael Jackson that was going on last year. But his performance was canceled. that was canceled abruptly. Now, in his place, Kelly wrote, "Black women don't come to our defense, and black women, they don't do that." Because he didn't go to the show. He won favorite male R&B artist. People in the crowd, she said, "Listen, excuse me, chill out. You know, all right? Let me even go further. If Rihanna would have tailed off her career, you know, become nobody, they would have never let him forget it. But, you know, let's just say, for example, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But Rihanna came back with Fenty, right? So Rihanna is even bigger now, love now. I think Rihanna might be on the same level as a fan base as Beyonce, if not bigger. So not only did you beat Rihanna, you beat Rihanna, Fenty Rihanna. Rihanna, who don't have to make an album for like 7 years, come out with a single, and it's hot Rihanna. Rihanna's even bigger now than what she was at the time with him. Chris Brown, I don't think is that much bigger than he was before. So now you're paying for it because of who Rihanna became after that. And let me just be honest. And guys gotta understand this. If you're doing things like that to women, you're gonna pay for it. Forever. It's a lifetime curse. Wanna know why? Because especially in the case of Chris Brown, women are your biggest supporters. Number one, your fan base is the same fan base that Rihanna got. Because, you know, dudes know Chris Brown, but, you know, the guys ain't, you know, sitting there talking about, "Hey, bro, that new Chris Brown album came out." Brother's not gonna do that. Women are doing it. And the way that he beat that lady, it was atrocious, right? I mean, you saw what she looked like. So he's always going to have that on his record in the court of public opinion. Look at Michael Vick. Michael Vick, I mean, you guys remember Michael Vick. I remember Michael Vick in college at Virginia Tech. As a quarterback for the Falcons, Michael Vick was the most exciting player in the NFL. Michael Vick did those 3 years in prison for dog fighting. It was to protest Michael Vick. You gotta understand something, okay? More so than ever before. This ain't the 70s or 80s. You know, you could, you know, beat on somebody and it's okay. Violence against women, always gonna be on your record in the court of public opinion. And you're gonna miss opportunities because of it. Long as you know that, you need to fly right. It's gonna be real, okay? If a woman, it gets on your nerves, if she's not compatible with you, what's the best thing to do, guys? You know, I know, like, we've all been in situations before where we overreact. But just understand something. You going that route ain't gonna change nothing, no way. If you gotta hit somebody to make them act a certain way, you don't need them. I tell you this all the time. Get her the fuck out of there. It's that simple. She don't want to do, you're not getting along with her, let her go. Let her go. You're not compatible, let her go. Why do you want to ruin your life? Number one, it's wrong, but let her go. Because why? You're gonna say sorry later for it anyway. That's what you're gonna end up doing. Most guys are stupid. You end up doing something dumb, yelling at somebody, cursing somebody out, beating somebody up. Then what do you gotta do? After you're done getting mad, "I'm sorry." People don't want to hear that. And then you're gonna mess around and ruin all your work for the rest of your life. Look at Bill Cosby. Remember Bill Cosby in the 80s? I do. The 90s? I do. Bill Cosby was untouchable. Impeccable record. Bill Cosby, you would think he's no better than R. Kelly now. Why? Things he did to women. In this case, white women. And people will block you. Like, let me tell you something like this, right? If Rihanna wouldn't have become who she was, it'd be different. But do you think that, you know, Rihanna's people can't put in the word? Like, look, if you guys let this guy get on the stage, X, Y, and Z, I'm never coming to X, Y, and Z. Yes, people block you when they get more power than you. You know, and the thing about a lot of men is that then once you get that on your record, people start lying on you. Let me just, like, remember the girl from Chris Brown? She was saying that Chris Brown tried to assault her, everything, just to prove that she was lying, right? Why? He has that reputation. So everywhere you go, people are going to try to try you and say, "Oh, he did this to me." Look at Trey Songz. I don't believe all the stuff about Trey Songz is true, but now he got the reputation, right? So now everybody is saying that he did X, Y, and Z to me. He did that to me. He has that history. Because he has a reputation of sleeping, doesn't matter. He's been the lead sex with people's wives. That's the penalty. You beat women, that's the penalty. Especially if they're powerful. That's the penalty. It might have been different if it was somebody that, you know, like I said, it was some normal girl. It's Rihanna. Chris Brown's gonna live with that till the day he dies. And if you don't get the hint that you're going to have to control yourself, you know, a lot of you guys are dealing with ladies, you see red flags, just let them go. You cannot make somebody act the way you want them to act. They're adults. Get them out of there quickly, in a hurry. They don't want to be there. Why are they there? Get them out of there. You'll find somebody else, bro. All right? Shout out to Kelly Rowland for standing up for our brother. But hey, not too many folks are going to take the stand for you and ask for folks to forgive you. People not going to forgive you for doing stuff like that. It's going to be real, not in this day and time. So guys, we're out. Peace.
People are not going to forgive you, not in this day and time. It's not like the 60s and 70s. Like, he did say at one point that, it's bad, like, very quickly. But the context for which this is being discussed feels like the abuse is, you shouldn't abuse because it can affect your life negatively. It didn't, the discussion didn't seem like he was saying don't abuse people because it's bad and it's destructive to their life and this is a moral wrong. It was like, you will be held accountable in the court of public opinion, particularly if the woman is big and have something going and people care about her. Like it, I don't know. Like I played it because there is a lot of inference that I'm making from it, but it doesn't feel like he's saying this is bad, even though he very point blank says, "Oh yeah, and this is bad too." Like it felt like an add-on, a footnote in an essay about you not doing it because of the impact on your life. Now he could be meeting men where they are, but that would mean where he believes men are this is not bad, but for its effect on me, not the woman I'm abusing. That's
Well,
my interpretation of the video.
you
FYI.
you have to think about it this way. This is the man who vocally supported and still supports the manosphere god daddy who said that beating a woman is just domestic discipline and something that all men should do if their woman get too loud. So it's not too far off to assume that he supports something like this. And yes, he did nearly say verbatim that it's wrong to hit. Well, he didn't say it's wrong to hit women. I didn't hear that small snippet that you heard.
Nope.
What he said was, you don't want to do that because your career may take a hit, not a morality argument or that it's bad to do. So he also said that what did he say? He was like, if a girl, listen, fellas, if a girl's making you mad, I know you're gonna want to hurt her. We've all been there, but don't do it. Which I feel like was telling on himself a little bit. But
Yeah, but not don't do it because it's wrong. Don't do it because it can affect you. Like that's the part. Oh, what he made this about save yourself so you can be successful and don't miss opportunity instead of don't commit acts of violence and get that. Yeah, so that's what Prince Petty is saying. Hopefully, that's what I understood from what Prince Petty was saying. That's my position too. I didn't get. Yeah, this is wrong. This is wrong. Don't do it. It's don't do it because there's not many Kellys out there to come defend you. Like he verbatim says that. Like at the end, he says, not a lot of people are going to do what Kelly does and come and defend you. So don't do it.
that's what I was waiting the whole time for him to. I was waiting for him to kind of state his position on whether he thought it was right or wrong, but he never did. He just said, "Hey, if you beat on a girl, your career will take a hit. So don't do it."
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I interpret it too. Knows his audience. O'Shea Duchess knows his audience has no moral core. Yeah, well, yeah. Anywho, that is it. I don't know if you had anything, LB.
No, I
Huh?
left my final comment in the super chat.
Oh, what super chat? I don't see a super chat from you. Did I miss it?
Dang. Okay, so it didn't even process because apparently I don't have a credit card attached to this account.
Now
I think
you
that might be
scamming
God
the
intervening.
YouTube. All right, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, and probably horrible to backtrack, but essentially what I was trying to express is that, like, like, as American Black people, we are all mixed to some extent, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And for a long time, I did not want to acknowledge it because I grew up in a pro blackity black family. And so I disregarded the experiences of people who are more phenotypically Black than I am. Not saying that I'm not phenotypically Black, because a lot of parts of me are. But I'm
Wait,
saying,
how did we get back to that?
I'm sorry.
Not tipsy LB. Someone said LB tipsy, LOL.
Can I just finish and then I won't come back for a couple streams?
I'm confused. All right.
Okay. Are you sure? Because now
Yeah,
I feel like I'm
why are
being
you taking? Why are you not coming back for a couple of streams?
because I feel like I need to be on timeout, but like I don't know.
I just
But
want to quickly interject. I'm
yeah.
not mixed. You do not speak for me. I'm mixed with
Okay,
honey
Patty.
and cocoa
Take
butter.
a 23 and me. Take a what's that other one? Ancestry exam. No, but what I was gonna say is, like, pretty much, so like with that whole thing, like if we accept that most of us, if not all of us, are, I'm gonna say most of us, if not all, out of respect for Petty, are mixed in some sort of way, and we have different experiences based off of how we present in the world. Like the main thing I was trying to say is that as much as we want to claim Black, that's fine and that's good. Like, I am a Black person, my parents are Black, and I identify as Black. However, if somebody says that I'm mixed and that I don't have the experience they do, and they're less mixed than I am or not mixed at all, who am I to tell them that, no, you're wrong? You get what I mean? And so, like, what I was trying to express is that, like, your proximity to the Black phenotype as understood generally, not scientifically, because I'm not a scientist. My background is legal and philosophy, not science. So, nobody's an expert on everything. So phenotype, as far as we're understanding it generally, not scientifically, the more proximity you have to the Black phenotype, the more discrimination you face, the less proximity you have to it, the more privilege you experience, and that should be acknowledged. And that's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. That's a fair statement. The more proximity you have to it, the more privilege you have to acknowledge, particularly in a racist society. But I do appreciate that. I don't know why you would say you need a break. Well, you need to be on timeout, but
I don't
you
know,
don't
because
need
the
to be on
chat,
timeout.
like, some of the chat seems a little mad at me, and I don't want to like ruin nothing over here.
Well, the chat is always mad at someone.
I know, but like, I feel like being
All right, chat,
honest
please redirect
is
that energy to me. I can take it. I promise you I can take it. And no one else can.
no, because then
So
you're keeping for me and coddling me.
no, I mean, I did it for Kay and I don't mind. Anyway, no, I promise you it's fine. Like, you don't have to take a break from anything. I don't see a timeout. Anyway, have a wonderful night, everyone. My face is breaking out. It is what it is.
No,
I love you
I want to see
all.
Petty's whiteboard.
Bye
Bye.
bye.